Hey, are we going back? Is it working again?
Let me check.
Yeah, those are just, well, it's just meat, right? Like you can have
Yeah,
meat, you're not like vegan.
I just can't eat meat.
Okay.
It's just Lent. It's not.
Not what we name everybody.
I don't know. God made
Still
him.
So yeah,
Oh,
I think the only thing that is the beef and the instant.
What?
Okay.
Wait, what?
What?
Apparently, we're back online.
I just restarted the stream, so it's good. It's good. We can see the latkes.
Yes,
No.
we're having latkes tonight.
Anyway.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, so yeah, so you guys smell this delicious food,
I just smell food.
and you just smell food, and the two people the other two other people,
Derek and I smell different.
yeah, they smell different food, and yeah, so you're not really sure where it comes from, where it's coming from. Actually, wait, no, Arvindr, with a roll of 19, you would know. You would know that it's coming from further down the tunnel.
But I changed mine.
Was there another way to? All right, I
The
guess
top
I
one.
want to investigate that because it sounds pretty good.
Okay, so yeah, so
I like
you just know that it's
Is that
coming from
true?
further down the tunnel. You're not really sure where.
All right.
So you want to keep going forward?
Need a little more mushroom for your other chocolate.
Not easily.
Change my nickname in the chat.
It opens on
Shit
that
mushroom.
side. It's weird.
So you guys are gonna keep going down the tunnel.
So why do you guys eat?
How long?
I don't know.
Otherwise we die.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Also, do like a brush, like a corn on the cob brush or
Yes.
meat brush or whatever.
So as you guys are continuing down, the tunnel is like is getting thinner and thinner.
This one looks.
Doesn't that just get wider?
No.
Where are we going?
I know.
That way.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're
thinking,
going this way. Oops.
I'm keep surprised because like I'm expecting that more space is the way that we're going.
No, we're narrowing.
Okay. I cast.
Detect magic.
you know
Detect
what?
food.
I have something. I have something.
So yeah, everybody can make another perception check. Arvindr, you're still smelling that delicious food from your past.
I cast a ritual divination.
Ouch. Not
What does
20.
that do?
Is it a
Okay.
ritual spell?
Plus 5.
Nat 20?
Yeah.
You know that like 100 feet up and to the left is where the smell is coming from. It's a little dark. You probably still can't like super see it very well, but like you know that like forward in the tunnel about 100 feet up and to the left is where the smell is coming from. And you also smell more dishes from like where you're from. Like the spicy pepper thing, and then like if you like
Meat stick.
yeah, like you smell meat stick.
What a right foot.
Here, I cast divination.
Are you asking what the food is?
No, I'm asking.
What are you asking?
Is this the way we are meant to go?
Yes. Your what's your god's name?
Oh, I forgot.
Ooh, probably the wonderful god of like death and decay.
It's
No.
This is like a
Or
god of like
agriculture
love.
Love.
Protection.
Was it Lathander?
No.
It's like it starts with an M, I think.
Because it was Neil's god. It's so stupid.
I'll find it. He is right.
Oh.
Wow, that is a lot of garlic powder. Jonathan, you know spices expire, right?
No, they don't.
A lie, if I've
That's
ever heard one.
That's a myth put out there by big media.
the
Big
spice,
Big
the
spice.
spice companies. They're
Yeah.
trying to trick me into
Trying to
buying
trick
more
ya.
saffron. It's not gonna work. They can't trick me. I know
Can't
better.
I know what I'm doing.
Oh, here, this one.
I know, there's a lot.
Boldre.
I want that.
Yeah, so you ask you cast this is a 7th level spell that you're casting?
No, it's fifth.
Okay.
Ritual fifth. We just wait there for 10
Is it actually a ritual?
Yeah.
You can cast it while you're walking.
Okay.
It only takes an action.
But the ritual is 10 minutes.
He's not using a spell.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not a spell.
Oh, I missed that.
I don't know why you don't have any attacking spells. You're not gonna do anything with them.
I mean, that's fair.
He has to kill the spiders.
Yes.
Heal all the spiders.
Okay. Yeah. So Bowl Dry, your goddess of hearth and home.
Community and home.
Whatever. You ask her like what that delicious smell is and if you're going the right way, and she says, "Yes, actually, you stumbled upon quite a wonderful tunnel, my dear. Look for the source of the smell."
Do you want to join us? I only can get one question.
Yeah, you get one question. She
I'll say
says.
that.
Spend another 10 minutes.
She
Another
says.
10 minutes.
She says, yes, you're going the right way, and then like adds as like a favor to you because you're a worthy follower that the source of the smell is something safe, and that if you can find it, that it might reward you.
100 feet up on the left here.
Oh, let's go that way then. Oh wait.
I have a real can opener.
At the very back of the door.
Yeah.
The food.
See.
The
My
smell
other
of food is
Yeah,
a
you got it
safe
back.
place to be.
It smells like home, and I love it.
Well, that
Okay.
I could use a bit of food.
So, Arvindr, with your roll of a 20, you would notice as you get closer to it, there's a pretty large, like cleft in the rock here.
And that's where it smells
A
coming out of.
cleft.
What's wrong with that?
Do I see any cleavage on the rocks?
Fuck you.
Rocks don't have cleavage. Minerals have cleavage.
Wait, did you just say rocks don't have cleavage?
Mineral.
Oh, minerals do. Okay. I missed the second part.
Rocks have clefts.
This is a cleft in the
Yeah,
rock.
joints
There's a
and
cleft.
whatever that other thing is called.
Good.
But
It looks like a pretty
also-
tight hole. Arvindr,
So this is where the
did
gases
you just
are
hear that?
coming out
Did
from
was I the
the
only one that said that, or
I didn't do it.
I said it looks like a pretty tight hole?
I was trying to remember what the other thing that was the opposite of joints.
So Stool could not fit through this tight hole.
This cleft.
I'm not answering that.
This cleft.
You can't trick me. You can't trick me. I know what you're trying to do. So yeah, you Arvindr, you like walk up and immediately find this like crack in the wall,
I'm going in.
and make a dexterity check to see. If it's just pure dex.
Is it it's not a saving throw, right? 9.
Yeah, you can do it. You kind of like squeeze
sec.
through, and you get a little scraped,
Do you need a push?
and you think you get caught for a second, but you do manage to squeeze through.
Someone cast grease on Arvindr.
And so on the other
I
side,
was about ready
you,
to
the
shoot.
other guys kind of like see you disappear into the wall, but on the other side of the thing, you see
I can guess freedom of movement.
basically like this really long table
Oh.
that is filled with every kind of food you can imagine,
Yes.
and like a fireplace, like kind of crackling merrily, like on the side of the wall,
There's
chair.
no way this room isn't a trap, but I'm going in.
Like looking, there's like comfy chairs. Well, the thing is that you know it's not because
Good
Stool told you, like, the goddess told you that specifically, like, it wasn't a trap. There's chairs on the wall,
Pretty straight.
and
There you go.
you guys can, Arvindr, you can make an insight check.
Oh, Arvindra's inside.
11.
Yeah, he's inside. You, like, knowing that Stool has asked his goddess and she said it was safe, you would assume that this is a lovely place to take a short rest. There looks like there's magically replenishing food on the table that you can eat.
I'm so excited.
Let's take a long rest.
There's like jugs of wine and beer and water on the table that you can like serve yourself, but it looks like a very comfortable place to like take a rest if you
You
want.
guys get a bonus if you short rest and do hit dice by me.
I'm at full health.
Arvindr, what do your dwarf eyes see?
It's great in here. Come in. All of the greatest food, all of the greatest beverages, all of the most comfortable chairs. I'm gonna pick the most comfortable looking chair.
Yeah, there's a really big squashy one out in this corner, and it's
That
like
one.
Like a beanbag.
No, not even that. It's like more like a lazy boy.
I'm gonna drag it closer to the fire.
Okay. Okay.
Or maybe I'll drag it like between the end of the table and the fire so I can reach the food.
It's
and sit in the chair.
real heavy. Make a strength. Make a strength.
I
save.
don't think I can fit.
20.
Yeah, you got it. So you drag the chair all the way over, and you are able to reach over and grab like servings of sausage and rice, while also like sitting next to the fire. And the drinks
Best
are
place ever.
right here, so you can also reach those.
I don't know if I can fit.
Make a dex check. Oh, okay. What?
He's spoken to.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, you can do it.
I have -1 to dex.
10.
You can do it. You only need a 5 to squeeze through the hole. That's what she said. Shut up. You're the one that said it.
You said it, not us.
So yeah, so Stool,
Oh.
actually as you enter the room, you'll notice that like
So like they shouldn't have a problem fitting. Oh, I added the softener, so.
Yeah.
you're very
That's-
squishy.
That's
You can
stool
get in.
softener.
As
That's stool
Stool,
softener.
Stool, as you enter the room, you'll notice that some of the dishes on the table change from like, and Arvindr, you would probably notice too since you're in here and you're like looking at the food. You would notice that the dishes change from like what would traditionally be delicious for you,
Desert food.
and then some of them like become like what looks to be like soil and like compost and things that like Stool would find like very like fulfilling and like fill him up.
I would be
So-
interested in tasting them,
Just
but
You could.
it's probably not as
just
delicious.
imagine if music was still here, just glass.
Yeah, it would.
Everywhere.
There would be like plates of like broken glass. Absolutely.
Is it showing us food? Like, is it how?
It's not just showing.
We're about
you.
to find out.
You
Creating your.
yeah, make a dex
Oh,
check.
Lindsay,
18.
this is
Yeah,
your
you
shot.
can get in.
You become a changeling. Your food keeps changing based on like what personality you have.
Oh.
It absolutely does that.
So yeah, so what's your name? Oh shit. Kimber. I knew it. I knew it.
How
I
dare.
promise.
Jug of
I promise. I knew
How
it.
dare.
Kimber, when you enter the room, the plates of food
Sacrifice.
sort of like shift, and like all of Stool's food and Arvindr's food kind of shift forward a little bit, like close to them, because I'm assuming that Stool has sort of like walked down. And now there seems to be like, instead of like food for you, there's like cans of oil and like tools and things that you would need to like maintain yourself
Some
in a very
WD-40?
efficient way. Yeah, like a lot, like a whole can of WD-40. We're sponsored by WD-40 this week.
I come up and I say, I think this table is racist.
Well, I mean, like it also like
Dear, do you want to eat these things?
if you
Sorry.
specifically request something, it might be able to produce it. But yeah, so like when you walk in, it looks like things that you would
No.
use for like a long
Repair.
long rest or a short
Yeah.
rest.
Okay.
Who's next? Jerish can.
Brunch.
Jerish just okay. So like when Jerish goes to enter,
You probably
He-
would've entered when I did.
he is like barely capable of squeezing through the hole for whatever reason. Like it seems like it was like magically expanding for you guys.
It doesn't like Cherish.
But like he is like having to like force his way through, and then when he gets in, some of the bowls of food and plates turn into just like gruel, like bland, flavorless gruel, and then like some
Sad.
like a couple bowls of like bacon and eggs, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's my favorite foods!"
Half-assed pancakes.
Yeah, some like pancakes that are like kind of oozy. He's like, "This is what the marm made for us in the orphanage before I was adopted."
They're like those blueberry smile
Yeah.
faces that, like, leak everywhere and are horrible.
There- so he like gets in and he like goes directly towards the gruel and is like, "This is what I grew up eating. It's beautiful. I haven't seen this since I like left the orphanage when I was like 5."
Child,
Cherish,
you are sad.
man up and have some spicy rice.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you
that,
should
that looks like it would hurt my tongue.
eat. It'll put some hair on
It
your
would be like
chest.
these sad pancakes.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
may have been fighting when Brad made those for dinner.
Aww.
She usually get happy pancakes, but she got sad.
Anyway, so we've got Leonora and Lady Peregrine left, and you can kind of hear everybody oohing and awing as they enter the room. Who's next?
Probably, Leonora.
Leonora.
Probably would have went with Stool.
Yeah. I feel like Lady Peregrine would honestly be smart enough to know that, like, if this room is adjusting to accommodate whatever anybody, like, wants,
Yeah.
it would be hard pressed to, like, satisfy her.
So is it like what we want at the moment, or is it like a deep
It's
down,
like I'm talking like the Mirror of Erised type
it's
situation.
Like your inner.
Yeah, like your like innermost like, oh,
Okay.
this is like the kind of food that like
But I don't know,
genuinely.
would you know that from the hallway?
So wait.
Or-
I think no, I don't think she
I mean,
would, and so
just,
that's
like,
the thing.
For me to
Yeah,
know out of
For
game,
for
to,
you,
like,
for out of game, this room is essentially acting as like a soul food Mirror of Erised.
So wait, Bob was here, it'd just be blood.
Yeah, he would enter the room.
Yeah.
He would enter the room, and there would be like a goblet of blood.
Ugh.
And
Everyone would be
then
like,
like
okay,
a goblet
we
of
know
wine.
Look at that. Big surprise.
But yeah, Leonora, are you gonna try and go
Only
in?
pictures of blood.
Okay. So you can make a dex check.
Or do you need help?
Oh,
Clearing some
natural
space.
20.
Nat 20? Okay, Leonora, you go in, and when you enter the room, for just a second, all the food on the table shifts to like
What is your favorite?
Stars.
your. I think. Okay, so like here's the thing. I think that like for a second, just for a second, and then after it sort of fades, you'll notice like one plate of them. Your mother's. Like, your mother has been gone for a very long time, but you know that she used to enjoy being in the kitchen. And she
So
was...
I've been told.
So you've been told. And you've heard from your servants, and, like, your dad maybe has mentioned it occasionally, that she was very famous for, like, her... I guess, like, coffee cake. Or something like that. Like, what sort of dessert?
cake.
Or like breakfast sort of like sweet thing, like French toast. Like maybe she was well known for her galaxy cakes.
Galaxy.
Do you have a preference?
Jonathan.
Maybe it is like your whatever she made for your first birthday or whatever.
Yeah, something like
It's
that.
like an apple honey cake.
Okay, so yeah, so every plate
And
on
like
the
she's
table.
she's never had it the way her mom
Yeah,
did it. 'Cause
yeah.
her mom hasn't really been a part of her life, but it's like I think she smells it and this waft of like
Yeah, no, I think
maternal
that
nostalgia.
I think that it
washes
like
over
it like awakens a memory, and you kind of like have this like as all the table on or all the food on the table flashes to where it's just plates full of this apple honey cake just the way your mom used to make it. You sort of have like a flash of like almost like a sort of one of those like storybook type memories from like your when you were really really young, like the type of memory you have when you're like 2 and you remember something like in this very like glowing way. You remember like helping your mom in the kitchen, like or something like that, you know, like or trying to be like her mom, like yeah, like your mom
She's
being
holding
like,
you while you're
Leonora,
stirring.
stir this, like here, like or like here, do you want to pour the apples into the batter, that sort of thing. And so you have like this brief flash, and as you enter the room fully, the table sort of shifts back and like adapts, but you do see that there is a whole apple honey cake, and it smells just like the one that your mom used to make. Like right there at the end, like right in front of you as you enter.
Yeah.
And so
How does Arvindr feel about eating Stool's compost?
Wait,
I don't know. You
gonna
tell me.
eat it?
Yeah, I tried.
You're
some.
Arvindr, you tell me. So there's like plates of it right here. So because he's the most recent to enter, the food kind of follows you as you move down the table. So like it
Oh.
shifts places.
Oh great.
So like whatever you find most appealing will be in front of you. But you can try and like, you know, you can grab other people's stuff. But like As Stool kind of gets closer to you as he's exploring the table, yeah, there's like a plate of compost right next to you, Arvindr. What do you think?
I think I would try it.
I'm just
Okay.
grabbing like a handful.
Make a Constitution save.
17.
You eat it with no ill effects, but you do think it tastes exactly like you would expect compost to.
Well,
It doesn't really do anything for you, but you do feel like maybe a plant would really enjoy eating that.
Man, this tastes healthy.
Exactly. It's like uncooked kale with like the woody stems though, not
I work
like
in
the.
the compost lab. I can very much picture what it tastes like if it's got like coffee grounds and like peat moss and
Yep.
sticks.
It's like
and
all those
stuff.
delicious things. It's like all of the nutrients Stool needs to live as a plant, but not very much flavoring things that like people would enjoy as a humanoid. And so, Lady Peregrine, you're last.
So when I go in,
And I do want to say, like, you don't have to go in. So, like, you can hear all of them talking and, like, chattering and stuff. And I think that, like, make an insight check real quick. Yeah, you would know, like, listening to them talk, like, what's happening, right? Like, everybody's kind of focused on, like, oh, my gosh, this is, like, my favorite food from when I was a child. And, like, all of this stuff. So you could probably, like, look in the crack and see that.
What a great feast.
So,
Crying a little.
I think I'd be curious enough to go in.
make a dex check.
Especially because, I mean, it's clearly something magical,
thing
so I
where
feel
it's
like I
like-
could probably
Mhm.
brush it off as like being indecisive or have traveled so much or something.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so you can squeeze through the hole.
Okay.
And as you enter the room, the table, like, rather than doing what it has done previously, like when Leonora entered, all of the plates sort of flashed to this apple cake. When Stool entered, some of them turned into compost and that sort of thing. When Lady Peregrine enters, rather than any of the plates shifting in like the predictable way that you guys have kind of seen before, basically what happens is that each plate starts randomizing and sort of like putting out things that are combined together, if that makes sense. So like instead of the apple cake, like when she enters the room, basically,
Apple
like
cake
you guys
and
were
the
like
compost.
essentially eating like the food that you enjoyed from your childhood or whatever. When she enters, when you go to like take another bite, like instead of the apple honey cake that you have a compost spicy sausage cake. It's like, but it's like, and it's like flashing. So like as you're going to take a bite, it's like literally flashing into something else. It's like
Weird yogurt
there's,
cake.
yeah, exactly. There's no like,
It's like a glitch.
yeah, it's almost like the Matrix is glitching, for lack of a better like phraseology. It like shifts really, really quickly, and like things are like looking disgusting for 1 second and then becoming like even better than you thought they could be before, like a second later, and
Peregrine, is this circus food?
slowly switching back and
It
forth.
seems that the room doesn't know what to do with good taste.
I think that you guys could make an inside check on that because you guys have seen, like, literally Stool got compost.
I thought that the room knew exactly what kind of foods I like.
And so
That's a 16 on insight.
I think that you'd probably figure that with a 16,
Do you just not know what kind of food you like?
I have traveled very widely. I have a refined palate.
yeah, for insight.
25.
Yeah, so with a 25, you'd probably recognize that, like, this room. Okay, actually, Leonora, make an Arcana check too, real quick.
Oh, a natural 20.
So, you maybe. I don't think you've seen this specific enchantment before, but you've seen something similar to it
Oh yeah.
in, like, your house. Like, I think that the table that you have in your house, like the feast table, is enchanted to do something similar to this one, where it's like when your dad would have dignitaries and scholars from like faraway places, he would use the magic of the table to like give them the food that they wanted most. So with an Arcana check that high and with an Insight check that high, I think that you would know that this table is supposed to be infallible, and the fact that it's like like pooping out things that don't make any sense and like no one would like means that like Lady Peregrine is, you know, it's not just the fact that she's traveled all over the place and doesn't necessarily know that what she likes. It's more that there's some like sort of indecisiveness within her.
You said pooping out.
Shut up. And then Lady Peregrine, I think you should make a wisdom check. I don't know what.
So is it that it's not responding to me at all, or like?
No,
does
it
settle?
is, but it's like so. Like I think that like in the flashing of things, just you because you're the only one that has known like what you've been through. You're seeing things that like Radka enjoys. You're seeing things that Theoden enjoys. You're seeing things that Lady Peregrine prefers, and then you're seeing things that like Rin herself prefers.
Oh.
Okay.
And so, like, I think that you make an insight check, and we'll just see, like, what happens with that. Oh, nat 20. Okay,
A
so
lot of 20s.
with a
Plus
nat 20, with a 28, you know
No, 20.
that, like, you hear Radka's voice saying, you know, just hold to whatever explanation you're offering. You hear Lady Peregrine's voice saying they don't need to know for like it's nothing that relates to them, mind their own business. And then you hear Theoden's voice saying, I think that maybe like there's enough here in terms of I don't know exactly like what his tone would be, and so correct me if I'm wrong, but I do feel like he would be the most trustworthy and like trusting of the three, and would
He's a
say
little gullible.
and would
He's
say
probably jealous of my dwarf food.
he would say like this food looks really good, maybe we should like give the table a chance to really get to know us. And so I think that you would be able to choose at that point like which food you would want the table to pick with an insight roll that good, and then like go from there.
So like eventually they'll stabilize, right?
If you just keep standing there, it's eventually going to go back to the way it was.
Okay.
But if you make a choice, then it will adapt and like pull in your whatever food you would prefer. And if you would prefer all three, if you choose like to like expose yourself as Rin, it will pull all three
So
types and then
do
whatever
I-
she enjoys.
I have to turn into whatever.
You could just choose that option and the table would display that, but like you're not forced into like changing.
I think that's
You could
what
just like show like you could say whatever.
You
So-
can explain it however you want.
Yeah,
think-
exactly.
I think she'd probably go with like presented with all of this and actually seeing it,
Mhm.
like her actual inner self. And it's probably really similar to like Jerusha's porridge, just like
Yeah.
super plain, like not a lot of flavor, just like
Okay. So is that what you're gonna do? So like you're like making the choice to like
so like out of
like-
all of them, that would be the
Is that
one
ring?
that she would actually like naturally be like,
Mhm.
oh my god, I want to eat that.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
So like as soon as that thought passes your mind as Lady Peregrine, the voices of Radka, Theoden, and Lady Peregrine kind of stop, and you hear Rin's voice saying, that, I want to eat that. And like as soon as you think that, the table like shifts down and like everybody's got the food that they want, and you kind of have like the very plain like I want to say it's like chicken and rice, but like with no like extensive
it's-
seasonings. It's
very,
A little bit of salt.
yeah, maybe and
Yeah.
maybe some like vegetables. It's like
Jerusha says, that looks good.
he does.
I'm not sharing.
What about the compost sausage kit? Just all around?
If you have some of that, if you like see that and like Stool is like yes, yes, then like a little tiny plate of it will like pop into being right next to like the big plate of compost after it like settles down and like the table stops shifting.
Does he get a his size fork, or does he use like a tiny fork?
No, he gets a his size fork.
I'll swap you some some dwarf food for a piece of your cake.
Okay.
Yeah, and like
I
the
give you
table,
some
the
cake?
table accommodates that. Like if you guys are like sharing food and like that sort of thing, it's meant to do that. It's only gonna shift if like you
Yeah.
decide you need something different or if your heart wants something different.
And I would know that, and so I'm like,
Mhm.
I want like a little cake for everybody.
Yeah. Does anybody want to like comment on Lady Peregrine's choice?
I want to know why
'Cause-
no one's eating my motor oil.
Because I do feel like.
I heard you tried the compost.
I mean, I don't know, Lindsay. I don't want to like
No,
force
it's
you
def-
into
it's
anything.
definitely it to someone
Composted
insightful, it
bodies.
would seem an odd choice.
Yeah, right. Because you guys know Lady Peregrine is like kind of this bombastic, like
Right, she should be eating my
extravagant
spicy rice.
figure. Yeah, exactly. She should be eating. She should be
Your
eating
spicy rice
spicy
does
chicken and
look
rice.
good.
She should be eating things with like saffron and all these expensive spices. And
The
yet she's.
charcuterie.
Yeah, exactly. And yet she's eating like this very plain like rice and chicken, no seasoning, maybe just a little salt and like
Stool
some
probably
vegetables.
wouldn't know that, so.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say you would, but like everybody else could make an insight check to try and see if like they could, question Lady Peregrine.
19
That's a
plus
4.
whatever.
But I would still maybe see if I could try some of your food and see if it was something like that doesn't look particular. I'm not gonna try Jerusha's because I know it's terrible.
Well, no,
But
objectively.
I think her food must have something.
He's got like powdered eggs. Jerusha's got like powdered eggs in
Oh
his.
no, and like
It's
raw
like
Like
really
potatoes.
shitty breakfast food, yeah. From like
Frozen hash
from the
browns.
strip club because they're the only ones that have ever shown him any sort of affection.
He probably has like the dried military food.
I'm
is.
convinced that there's something better about her food than it looks. And I
Okay.
have to try some.
So yeah, so
I make an extra cake for Jerusha and like decorate it with sprinkles and like a candle. 'Cause
And
I
he's
feel
like-
so bad for
and he's
him.
like,
It's Kimber's
no one's
birthday
ever done
though.
this.
Wonder bread, butter, and sprinkles.
so with an insight check of 27, Leonora,
That's probably
you would see Lady Peregrine like eating this like very plain food
Yeah.
and
And enjoying it.
yeah, and probably like be like, I'm surprised.
I
And
mean,
you can
I
go to
don't
the-
know. I think
You can go to the bathroom.
I
if you want.
clock that, but I don't know that I would judge necessarily.
I don't think
I
you're
might,
judging.
I might clock it as like, not what I expected.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't mean that you're like that's weird. I think that with an insight check of 27, you could choose like
To say something.
yeah, if you're gonna say something or not, but like you definitely notice that that's like a peculiar thing and that's surprising for the character that she's been putting on this whole time.
Okay.
And you, like I said, you can choose whether or not to say anything. There's
I'll ask her a question. But I'm
You can
gonna
go to the bathroom
first.
Can his food be his Jerusha's dessert be fairy bread?
yeah,
It has to be.
it is. It's you hear like a couple of fairies going.
Help me. That's so sad.
It's alright, Jerusha, you eat it.
And he
I know
does.
that's
He
what you
eats them. He eats their little legs off,
Nice.
and they squeal.
Ooh, I want sugar. I want some sort of like honeyed insect.
There's like honeyed crickets. There's just like a bowl of them,
Sounds
and some
really
flatbread to eat them on
I like them
for dessert.
rotting dead bodies.
And like so, as you guys are like eating as well, the plates themselves are shifting to the proper like course that you're expecting. So like as like if you eat the appetizers, then like they shift to like roasted wyvern leg and like that sort of thing. Like as you're feeling like when you're getting ready to like go to the next course, it's shifting.
I kind of want Stool
Insight for
to
you.
get bitten by a vampire.
I rolled an insight
Uh-huh.
20
For
on her.
yeah, so I think that you'd probably notice something similar to Leonora. Kimber is not as versed in like the ways of humans and
Yeah.
food, so I don't think that it would like occur to her necessarily that Lady Peregrine is eating bland food and therefore like that doesn't make sense. But I do think that it would occur to Kimber that like maybe not the taste so much as like the color of the food.
Presentation.
Like yeah, and like presentation, like chicken and rice in like a very simple bowl versus like a golden ornamented like orange and red and green and blue dish that has like all kinds of like circus colorings, which is what I think Lady Peregrine would like. Like, if you were gonna ask her like what her spirit food is, it would be something that has those things in it. And I think Kimber is intelligent enough and like has enough insight to know that like what she's
What is
proclaiming to be
intelligence?
and like what the food that she's eating is don't line up necessarily. What'd you say?
What's Kimberlight's intelligence? 12. Okay.
She's not dumb.
No,
And she's very, very wise.
it's just not charismatic.
So like I think that Kimber would probably understand that. Like, you know, this seems different than what I would have expected.
Yeah.
I don't think that she's like had enough experience in the world of food to like say like, well, you know, like the spices and flavorings are wrong, but like certainly the presentation, it's like in a simple clay bowl with like no ornamentation and like
Yeah, Arvindr's definitely convinced that her food is fancier than it is.
what?
Sure, you're not having
No,
eggs,
it
right?
stinks.
Excellent.
I've never had shaksouka before. I'm very excited.
It's pretty good.
It's very tasty.
Excellent. But yeah, so I think that you guys eat, and if you need a short rest, this is a really good place to take one.
The long rest.
Pressure cooker. If you need to take a so
I'm good. I don't need to take a call.
I think that like after you guys have like finished eating, the table sort of like resets and like you would get the impression that it's like recharging. So I mean, it is a enclosed room with no exterior doors. The only way to get in or out is this like little crack in the wall.
Come on, you couldn't have done that outside.
So
Don't worry.
Can
You're
I
cute.
investigate the room?
yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like what you saw when you came in. Like, there's chairs. There's what'd you get?
11.
Yeah. So there's chairs. There's a fireplace. There doesn't seem to be any external exit apart from the crack in the wall. It's almost like this particular room like materialized out of nothing. Like you're not really sure like where it came from because there seems to be no exit apart from the crack. But
It's a room of requirement.
yeah, basically it really is.
Pockets in the
And so like as you guys finish eating, after everyone finishes their final course and is like fully full, the table empties and is like sort of clear. But you do think that like the room would be safe to sleep in if you wanted to. You could, theoretically. And it's certainly safe for a long rest, for like 30 minutes to an hour of like
Does
really.
dessert and stool have decaying wood?
Yeah, let me get my tea glasses.
For dessert, can stool have decaying wood?
So you'll mix the eggs.
Yeah, sure. And maggots. Yeah, they're maybe not like living.
It smells pretty good.
But yeah, no, absolutely. He like a log of squishy wood from like
Mushy log.
the floor of a forest kind of appears on his plate.
Is that your dessert?
I already tried the compost.
I'm full.
I wonder what music would have
I'll take a little bite
Oh, I'll try some.
of wood.
It's woody.
Okay. Brad could probably like it.
It has a lot of. It has a
I'm
lot of
picturing
I was
fiber.
gonna say that.
What do you think the most dwarvish dessert is? Like, I mean, I'm thinking like desert dessert would be like the bugs are just like a palate cleanser thing, but like
Pound cake.
something really
For
dense.
dwarves? I feel like it would have to be
Like
some
a-
kind of like like some super
Dense.
dense like spicy sweet cake. Yeah, with like
The honey drizzle.
I was
yeah,
thinking
and
some
like
kind
maybe
of,
some like kind of like iron like sprinkles on top or something like that.
Now you lost me that because that doesn't sound like it would taste good. But I'm with you on the spice cake.
Well, I mean like metal can taste good. It just like has to go with like other stuff.
What pulls your carts?
Hammer.
It's probably like a camel milk
Oh.
pudding or something.
Yeah,
Oh.
makes sense.
Dwarven woman pumpkin cake.
Pumpkin. Pumpkin cake. So yeah, so Sarah, it's whatever you think would be appropriate for
I'm
your
just trying to
culture.
imagine it.
Yeah,
I think that the camel milk pudding makes a lot of sense. I think that
I'll just have a smattering of options.
Yeah, I
like
think that-
options. Arvindr
yeah.
seems to enjoy like choices.
Yeah.
Dwarven braided hair bread.
what
What?
hair?
Kind of like the.
Like challah. Okay, challah. So yeah, so you guys kind of all like settled in. Your bellies are full. You're feeling pretty well rested. If you need to take a short rest, you can, like roll any hit dice or whatever.
I might just take a nap. I don't need to take a short rest, but
Anyone who rolls a 1 on the hit dice, they get to re-roll it.
Nice. Can I go over to Lady Peregrine and ask her whether there's a story behind her favorite meal?
Of course. Like this is entire. I did this so that there would be like a role playing room, so like you guys can talk to each other and like ignore me. I've told you everything that you need to know about the room itself.
Yeah.
I look for secret doors.
There are no secret doors.
I didn't even get rolled.
Roll it.
How was your meal?
It was excellent. How was yours?
It was
There's
unexpected,
definitely
but
not
good.
no secret doors.
I remember when there wasn't a
Is this
lake,
something you?
and then there was a lake.
That was a not one. So like, if there were secret doors, there aren't any
So was
anymore.
mine. Did you have
They
it?
all went away.
Which one was
They
it?
they vanished. You were like running your little feelers over the wall, and you were like, oh, there's a
My
secret
mother
door
was
here, and then it just
extraordinary woman.
vanished.
I guess so. I don't know her. I'm sorry. Is Jerusha like crying in a corner because
Wait.
he's so touched?
He's so happy
About
that someone recognized his favorite food.
Oh,
And
the
made him a
gruel.
And made him a cake.
Yeah, I think so.
Like trying to
He's probably like
comfort Jerusha.
he's really enjoying himself here. I think
Like, we love
he's been
you,
very
Jerusha.
scared up to this point.
You're fine. You're okay. Do you want to take a nap, Jerusha?
He needs
Yes.
one, dear. Give him a blanket.
Yeah. There's a really comfortable chair over there. Why don't you snuggle up?
Oh, he does. He just hops right into it. He's like, you're right. I need a 30-minute nap. Come get me when we're ready to leave.
Okay.
Leonora snuggling a stool.
So,
I can.
crush your eyes.
I was talking to Lady P.
Still going up.
Why? Is there something that's happening?
no, you guys are just friends.
So why was your food so plain?
Why was your food motor oil, dear?
I don't even eat. I don't know what that was all about.
Have
I was
you
just
taken
looking
care
around.
of
I've
your
noticed you.
joints?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Kimber, also, you don't doesn't have to be motor oil if you'd rather have something else. Like, I just didn't know what to say. Like, you don't eat, and like, I know you don't eat, and like, you don't really, like, you haven't expressed any particular interest in like a particular culture, so
No.
like, if it was something else, just say the word, and it passed, and it was.
Whatever something smells very spicy. In a good way.
Might be the
I think it
paprika.
Yeah, you did shit.
That sounds like it would be very something that
Yeah,
That
that
Arvindr's
Arvindr
culture.
would love. Do you have any books you want me to read to you?
I know how to read.
I mean,
our next book we're getting you is a cookbook, so we don't have to have any more motor oil feasts.
it's something
Yeah, I
that
mean, I don't know where that came from.
it's something that that humans do sometimes.
What's that? Oh,
Yeah,
read to each other?
Yeah.
Interesting. I was still waiting on her answer. I didn't know why her food was so plain.
That's true. Keep asking.
Well, sometimes it's difficult to tell the artistry of food if one hides it behind too many spices.
Make it inside checks.
Some people would argue that spices are the best part of food.
Nope.
12?
I
20.
can.
Or would that go against your deception?
That. Yeah, I
No,
guess
wait.
you can. You make a deception check.
26. That was insight, right?
Yeah.
Investigation was a
You can make a. What do you think would be more appropriate? I mean, because that is not necessarily a lie.
I mean, I'm not. I am attempting to draw.
You are.
questioning,
So make a
okay?
persuasion check. How about that?
So that is 21.
You accept it. You accept
Instead of
it.
a
Natural 1 and you get a 21.
That's disgusting.
That's
Roses are
ridiculous.
gross. I hate them.
That's ridiculous.
No, so I think that you
like,
you
alright.
accept that. You don't know
Okay.
enough about food to like have an opinion.
Yeah.
You, Leonora, on the other hand, are not convinced
It is,
by that.
to be fair, exquisitely cooked chicken.
She is obviously trying to deflect from like the fact that the table freaked the fuck out when she walked in. And, like for everyone else, it was like a normal like, oh, the dishes get added and then like everything else kind of like moves down sort of thing. And like she is obviously being like, oh, I don't know. It's a mystery. And like the table was like trying to like shoot out something that she would eat.
Yeah. The table really freaked out when you walked in the room.
Well, it's
What about
quite
spell
difficult
components?
when one has had so
What about
many
spell components?
Which kind?
fantastic meals in one's lifetime
Like-
to pick a favorite.
Do we have to have the
Perhaps
spell components?
that's what the table is reflecting.
If they have a coin value. Why?
Like 1,000 gold.
For what?
Scrying?
Is scrying cost 1,000 gold? Is it consumable?
A focus worth at least 1,000 gold.
Oh, that's okay, so like if the focus itself is like what you're talking about, I would assume that by level 11 you guys have something. And if Stool himself,
I can sell it and get 1,000 gold.
well like Stool, I think that like you specifically would probably, because you were granted like the equipment that you have from like the queen who was basically outfitting you to go forward. I would assume
the
that you,
mushroom queen.
yeah, but she's like
So
not
she's giving
dumb.
you some sort of relics.
Yeah, she like granted him like a bunch of like relics and like artifacts basically to like
One
help
of these
you,
options
like-
is a font filled with holy water, so you could very easily have some sort of
yeah. I think
vial filled with like water.
that you've probably got like your holy symbol or whatever it is worth 1,000 gold.
Okay.
Because you are level 11 and like, and I understand that that's weird because like you are kind of like a baby in terms of like the grand scheme of like history, like personal history and stuff.
Yeah, 'cause mushroom people don't live that long.
Right, but like I think that
25 and they live like to 30 something.
yeah, so you're old, all things considered. But I do think that like the Mushroom Queen herself has been like kind of stockpiling things to try and like, because you guys have been enslaved for essentially a whole generation. I think that she's probably like a lot older and is like getting ready to die and has stockpiled all these things to like give to you as like their savior. So like she like put all of her eggs into one basket and that basket is you. So I think that you have a focus worth 1,000 gold.
Basket of stool.
Or like the basket of mushrooms could be woven of solid gold or something like that.
My basket of
Muffins. Yeah, that's what I said.
my muffins basket is my spell.
Okay.
Focus.
Yeah, no, I think that that's
like
reasonable.
myth-
I'll just go
It's-
over my
into this
spells and like,
basket.
oh, that's big.
It's when the components are consumed by the
like
spell that are worth
resurrection.
something. Yeah, or like revivify, something like that. That's different. But I do think that you
Greater restoration of diamond dust worth at least 100 gold.
Is that
Spell
consumed?
Consumes.
okay.
I need diamond dust.
So you cast greater restoration on someone, right, Jonathan?
Yeah.
So I'm just assuming that your diamond dust is gone, so you'll need to buy a little bit more.
Isn't the
Sorry
desert
about it.
made of
Collected it all
diamond
the way,
dust?
all the way up here.
Okay.
But
Can I
it's
borrow
true.
some of your diamond dust?
I was collecting it the whole way. There's diamonds everywhere. I'm like, fuck it. Alright, just scoop up bags of
Alright,
it.
fine. Fucking diamond dust
Yeah.
is, to be fair,
And
it
this
is a
is
diamond desert.
That's what I'm
so
saying.
you win this round.
Yeah.
But if I ever catch you doing something with fucking emeralds that you shouldn't be doing, you will hear from me. Fine. You win.
I specifically looked
The
at that.
greater restoration specifically can be cast without material components because there's so many diamonds around.
That was my whole thing. I was actually looking at those spells and I was like, all these components, like, is that a thing? And then I think I realized, no, there's a desert of diamonds.
It's literally a desert of diamonds, and so
I guess
diamonds.
I don't need to worry
And
about
I even said it
Collects
before
on
we
every
started playing.
surface.
Diamonds are far less valuable.
Just because it's all over the place.
It is.
So
That's fair. All right. All right. I built myself into that corner. You win.
But you still need 100 gold worth. The worth is still the same.
So
though.
you just have to carry really
Yeah,
heavy.
a lot of diamonds.
A stack.
A whole big sack.
So
Is it in
I'd say
location, or
that's.
is it like global?
Okay, yeah,
What's the
yeah. And so
economy
this
like?
is the thing. This is the thing. I feel like it's 100 diamond dust on average.
Yeah.
And so like for the most of the world that's like not a thing.
Mhm.
But like here diamond dust is like you can like scoop it into a bag off the street and like have enough dust to make 100 gold if you were to like travel 500 miles away, something like that.
Okay.
So, as long as you guys are in the city
You don't
itself,
have to worry about that aspect.
right.
Okay.
But if you leave the city,
Then it's different. No, that makes sense.
it's different.
What was the time?
If you leave like the general vicinity of the mesa. Sorry?
Everything is done except for bread.
Okay.
How long on the bread?
So anyway, that's irrelevant. Back to this discussion between Lady Peregrine and Leonora. She's gone.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so everything food-wise is ready, but we can
We just
finish
need
the
to
conversation.
Yeah, so finish. So
Butter
So
in that?
you were saying.
What was I saying?
I
you were
was
trying.
saying
You were
the
deflecting
table
about
went
like
nuts when you
the.
walked in.
You were like sometimes the chicken is cooked exquisitely, and like sometimes you don't need spices to hide like the elegant flavor of food. And she like basically saw through that as a deflection and was like,
The table went nuts when you came in.
yeah, like why did if that's the case, why didn't the table just produce that food for you immediately, and why did it like go? Bloop, 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 bloop,
Well, it's
bloop, bloop.
very difficult to decide when one has eaten as many exquisite things as I have.
And I do think, Leonora, based on your Arcana check of 25 earlier, that you would
Yeah,
know.
I know how this table
Yeah,
works.
like you understand the general functions of this table, and like it doesn't just freak out because like someone can't decide. It's like what food makes you the most comfortable.
Yeah.
Like the runes and like enchantments built into the table are specifically to like analyze that and then produce it for you. So like it's not just like, oh, I can't decide. It's like my heart is literally pulled in 3 different directions equally, and I don't know why.
Are we speaking in a corner privately?
I don't know. It's up to you. Like I said, I'm just here to like facilitate the discussion. I'm not like, I've told you guys everything about this room that you need to know already.
Okay, so I put Jarush to bed.
I would.
He sort of weeps. He weeps. He's like, like crying in a little chair and like curls up and
It's like
cry.
his scrap of
he's like
blanket.
holding his like little teddy. Like he's got it's not even a teddy anymore. He's had it since he was like a child, and
It's
it
like a
doesn't.
fluff.
It doesn't have any
Matted.
stuffing left.
just
It's
a
just like a
wash-
little. It's like
No,
a
it's
teddy
a-
skin.
It's a
Beaver.
washcloth.
It's a washcloth.
It's just a
Beaver.
washcloth.
It's
It
just
has
a little bit of-
always been a
It's
washcloth.
blank.
Jerushka.
It's Blanky. He loves Blanky, and he's just gonna like curl up in a big puppy chair and like and take a short rest.
Sarah's never seen the Brave Little Toast.
What?
Oh.
She's
She's never seen the Brave.
What?
Her whole family didn't know it. We were playing a game and I put that as a thing. And
No one
I was
knew?
like, what is this?
I am so shook.
That's so
Blanky is like a
sad.
heated blanket.
Yeah.
He's the cutest.
I don't understand why you would bother watching a movie about appliances.
It's so
Because
weird, but like
they're
you definitely
anthropomorphized.
should watch it though. Like
They're all
it is
making fun of me
absolutely
'cause I
fucking
watched
bonkers.
it. I'm like,
It's a good movie.
yes.
It is absolutely bonkers, but you definitely should watch it. Anyway, so
So,
you guys are kind of in
we're
a
not-
corner.
we're not
You put
talking.
Jerusha to bed. Yeah.
I think we're talking. I feel like we're having a private conversation.
Yeah, you guys are having a heart to heart.
Kimber's
So you
just
can put
looking
them. You can put them
disdainfully
over in a
at Jerusha.
corner. I think that Stool and Arvindr are maybe still eating,
Arvindr is probably given. He's eaten a lot.
or is he like? So you guys are taking a short rest?
No, Nah, he's just napping.
Just from
Yeah,
coma.
I'm probably
Okay.
laughing.
I'm guarding
He's
Jerusha.
just chilling out by the fire.
Oh.
Hanging out by the fire. Maybe
Here,
he's got like a glass
read
of
some books in the
beer.
meantime.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Are you?
He's probably
are you
got like
reading
a big glass
Jerusha
of beer, actually.
A
And can you
saucy
put me by
bedtime
lady?
I could read
story?
him. I am
Your-
absolutely. I am
Your
reading.
most
Oh,
recent
yeah.
chapter of the Blades
Because
of
I-
Lust trilogy.
Because I told you that
Every
that's
time
what
you-
people do.
That's what
Yeah,
people
you
do.
read
Every
So I
time
know
you
that.
say the words member,
No one wants
staff, pink,
Scimitar.
or scimitar,
I'm near the end
he
of
like
Scimitar.
sort of whimpers and is like,
No, I'm near the end of Scimitar, so I'm reading that aloud to him. With thaumaturgy 5 times volume.
okay, so everybody can hear it. But you guys are having this conversation amongst that.
Shouting.
Yeah,
No one can
and
hear
so
us.
I will say that because he's doing it with thaumaturgy at 5 times volume, you can't hear what they're saying. I was gonna let you guys make a perception check to see if you could hear what they were talking about, but
No.
because he's covering it up. So you guys are having a discussion. What are you talking about?
So you said that you have a
Oh, I'm
wealth
sorry,
of
sorry.
experience to draw from for the table, and I say, no, but I know how the table works, and the table just draws upon your like heart's desire. So do you have a lot of tension in your heart? Are you pulled in different directions?
I don't know that tension is the right word here.
Make an insight check. Or like wisdom saving throw, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to decide what's the best thing for like you talking to your like other pieces. Because Lady Peregrine can't be in charge all the time.
Have you figured out a mechanism to do that?
It's
No,
like
I mean, but
it says it,
I mean,
but it's in your like the description of changelings is that like your other selves like.
no, that's the homebrewed background that we picked.
Oh, okay. Well, still.
But I mean, so the way I see it is that like it's all me, and it's like what
It's like you're different.
what face and personality,
Right.
like, because like the way I see it, there is a like core me who
Mhm.
has a certain set of like
Sure.
thoughts and beliefs and
I
values,
think that's fair.
and the personalities are like how those get manifested.
Yeah, I think that, but like based on my reading of like the background that you gave me, I do think that it's fair to say that like Lady Peregrine has been in charge for a very long time, and I think that like,
3 days.
well, I mean, I don't know. You tell
Well,
me.
she
Like
changed.
she was Radka, and
yeah.
now she's been Lady Peregrine for like 3 days straight, and she also has been so like. Here's the thing, Lindsay. I feel like as a changeling, with like these very well established personalities that you have, I think that it's reasonable for you to have like flashes of sort of like the other personalities talking in your head.
There's definitely like
and I'm not
there's
like,
definitely like other instincts.
yeah, and I'm not gonna like I would never force you to like act on those, but I do think that it's reasonable for like what Leonora just asked you, which was like, you know, are you torn in 3 different directions? I think that it's reasonable that like Lady Peregrine would be like, hell no, I'm like all me sort of thing, and then like if you don't like if you on your insight check or whatever, I think that it's fair for Theoden to be like, no, I think that like we should tell her. You know what I mean? And then like Radka to be like, I'm not sure I trust this one. Like maybe I agree with Lady Peregrine. I think that we should keep it like close to our chest.
No, I think that's definitely there. I mean, I got a 6, so I don't think I'm
I think
being particular.
I
like
think okay, so here's how I picture this working, and like tell me if you think that it's fair or I think that with the higher the wisdom roll is on this sort of check, and it can be insight or a wisdom save, whatever you think is better.
I mean, I'm better at insight, but I don't necessarily think that it is an insight.
I think it's a
thing.
wisdom save.
Yeah.
I think that with a wisdom save that's high, your personalities are advising you. And with a wisdom save that's lower, they're telling you what to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I think that, like, with a wisdom save of 6, you've got 2 personalities that are basically like, I disagree with what Lady Peregrine just said. And, like, you have to grapple with that.
and that's fair. I mean, I feel like her, like, most deeply held basic tenet is to, like, not...
So preserve herself. And I think that that's reasonable. I'm not arguing with that. I do think that with a wisdom save this low, you, like, catch yourself. Like, and again, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think I'm being particularly convincing to
Yeah,
Leonora,
I think
even
that
if my rolls are good.
you are, like, catching yourself almost saying things that would give you away, if that makes sense. Like, you're like...
I mean, the fact that I picked what I picked.
Right.
Inherently.
Exactly. And, like, and you are saying, rather than being like, oh, you know, it's fine, you know, the spices don't make the dish, it's almost like when she asked you if your heart is torn in 3 directions, it's almost like you go to say, you know what, you're right, but then you, like, catch yourself and you say,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. You know, I feel very confident in this person that I am.
No, I mean, I think...
Or whatever.
I think that's reasonable.
And I'm sorry that we're having this conversation right now. I just want to establish,
No,
like,
that's
how like my interaction with, like, Lindsay's other personalities goes, because she did pick a background that is very much like, if the way I read it, if I had wanted to, I could have, like,
right.
made her dissociate completely and, like, taken over her character for this conversation. And I don't want to do that. I
Right.
don't. But I do think that it's reasonable for, like, Lady Peregrine's sort of, like, facade
I
of,
think
like, complete,
it's
like...
slipping a little bit, and she's
Yeah.
more like, now that Leonora's asking, she's more like thoughtful about
Yeah, and she's, like, she's trying not to be, maybe she's not trying to lie, but she's trying to still be cagey, and it's not coming across well, because Leonora's been rolling really well on insight.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and I think, so, like, as Lady Peregrine, I think I would outright lie more.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, too. It's like, and this is why I wanted you to make the wisdom save. It's like,
Yeah.
because Lady Peregrine's instinct is to lie. Theoden's instinct is to tell the truth. And then Rodka's is to just kind of be like, oh.
Yeah, Rodka doesn't trust anybody.
So, like, I feel like Lady Peregrine and Theoden and this in particular instance are competing with each other, and with a wisdom save that low, I feel like Theoden kind of wins out, and it's like, Lady Peregrine, I think that we should give away more of what we, like, more of our identity than, like, you would normally be comfortable with.
I definitely think she is less trying to, like, deceive Leonora and more trying to, like, be reflective, but in a way that, like, gives her plausible deniability.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
fine.
continue that conversation. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail
No, I think
it.
it's
I just
good
want
to consider.
I just kind of want to establish that so that we have a basis. So, like, next time, like, this sort of thing happens, I'll make you make a wisdom saving throw, and if it's really low, then, like, the other personalities are going to have much more of a voice, and if it's higher, then, like, the one that you've got dominant will be the main one.
That makes
What
sense.
African foods have we had? We
That
had
makes sense.
dominated.
I like that.
Okay. So Leonora.
We had like 3 in a row.
What?
Remember we had African food 3 weeks in a row?
Oh, that was great. I loved it. I
What?
wasn't here.
What were the 3 African foods that we had? We had
One was
Egyptian,
Ugandan,
Yeah.
one was
Egyptian,
Ugandan,
and I think maybe, like, Sudanese.
Somali.
Somali.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
corn.
Yeah.
That was the
that's
one.
good.
That was very good
Yeah.
That
too.
was good.
I don't know how to
So Leonora, I think that, like, after this discussion that Lindsay and I have just had, I think that you would see,
Another minute.
with an insight check of, like, 27, which is what you got, I think that you would see that, like, Lady Peregrine is struggling with something inside of her
Yeah.
that's, like, she is telling you the things that make sense
Uh-huh.
for this particular instance, but I don't think that she's telling you things that are, what's the word? Like, true. So she's telling you things that are true in the sense that they're like logical and they make sense, but like you with your like really, really high like empath sort of thing, sort of know that like what is logical in this situation is not necessarily like what the actual truth is.
It's not like it's true, but it's not getting to the heart of it.
Exactly. It's like
It's not
she's not lying to you, but she's also not telling the truth.
Yeah.
So do with that what you will.
Wait, what did she say to me?
She said that you asked her specifically if she was being torn in 3 directions about
well,
like
I
her
said,
heart.
Do you feel a lot of tension in there? You said tension's not the word I would use.
Yeah, so like finish that sentence.
Or interrupt her and
Yeah,
make
or like call her out on it if you want. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
maybe-
Again, I'm really sorry that we're like doing this right now.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Maybe tension's not the right word for it, but like, I don't know. Do you feel like unsettled about something, or are you okay?
Yeah, Spira.
Are you cool? Be honest.
I'm young.
Yeah, she is. Leonora is very young. That's a really good point. I forget about that.
That's true. I guess I would say that I know I'm not old, but I've lived a number of lives, and that's
Oh, you could make an insight check on that.
I've lived many lives.
I've lived so many lives.
Oh, 2.
Okay, so yeah, you take that at face.
Well, like 10.
You take that at face value. You're like, oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know that anyone would imagine that someone who's living in a circus doesn't have a colorful
And that's what I'm
past.
saying. Like, you, I
I
feel
feel-
like you take that at face value.
I take that as like you've gone through some stuff.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable. So, do you guys want to end that conversation here? Yeah, or
I mean, I'm not
do
gonna
you want
press it
to? Do you want to keep going with it? Oh my gosh, it's beautiful,
Oh,
Jonathan.
wow.
Ooh, Twitch look.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That's lovely.
That's
That
so
is
great.
green
Is it still
onion.
going? It is, right? Like,
Yeah.
it hasn't locked out for some reason. I don't know why. I put it on Do Not Disturb. I don't know why it cut out for a second.
Yeah.
Brief internet turnout.
No idea.
Alas. So I mean, so long as one of us is looking at it, we'll catch it when it happens.
Yeah. So I think that you guys probably like sort of end that private conversation there, because you've rolled a 2 now, and you don't, or I mean 10. I
I'm
guess.
not gonna like out myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Lady Peregrine is not. She's not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like she's not volunteering.
She's
anything.
certainly not going to volunteer anything, and she's telling the truth, but like in a closed off way that
Here's
probably
how
would
I
turn
did.
you
Since
off.
she said that, she said she was okay. But like, if you ever want to talk about anything, let me know.
Thank you, dear. That's a kind offer.
I think that's fair.
And I give her some cake.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll eat the cake.
I do feel like Leonora, you have like this. This is your mom's cake.
Yeah.
And I kind of want you to make like a, I don't know, a history check or something to like see if you.
I cried a little bit when
You
I came
did,
in.
yeah. You had to have, right? Like
And
this is a cake that,
Stool wiped it up.
and like, and like one of the only
One
like
long tendril.
one of your only memories with your mom
Uh-huh.
is like baking.
Maybe you've
This
learned the
cake.
secret ingredient now that you've forgotten for the last
Oh.
And I
15
just,
years.
I just don't know. I feel like there's something that
I
we
can
could
roll.
do with that. Like, I don't know what to roll though. Like, what do you think? Like history?
I feel like that might be the best.
Okay.
We do have food, by the way.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
But yeah, so I think with a history roll,
Okay.
we'll talk for a second because your mother made this cake as like a gift to the servants, a gift to like anyone who she kind of like felt deserved it. It was like the talk of the town sort of thing. Like if you received one of Lady Axton's cakes, then you were like in favor in like the scholarly community. And I do think
She would make it for like, not that Leonora would know, but for like her father would have guests over.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the sort of thing where it's like the lady of the house is like deigning to
Yes.
dig
Instead of having
in.
the servants.
Exactly, she would make
Yeah.
it herself, and like I do think that with you eating it, you're probably able to identify like the ingredients and say like, oh, I could make this now. So I do feel like there's something to be said for like a history check or like insight or something like that like lets you sort of.
Watch this be like a really crappy roll.
If it's a 1, you get nothing.
History 12
Okay.
There's cardamom.
or insight.
Yeah,
would be
it does.
14.
So you know that it has clove in it, and you know that it has cardamom in it. Good job.
Allspice.
It has a little bit of Chinese spice, and maybe a little bit of allspice.
Is there star
I just
anise?
picked
There's
I just picked up
well, that's in the
weird
Chinese
spice.
spice. That's in the Chinese spice. I do think with a 12, you would remember only the happiest times this cake came into your like mouth, I guess, which is a gross way of saying it, and I shouldn't have said it
Ate the
in
cake.
that order. Yes. The way, like you remember all of the happiest times you've eaten this cake, like when your mom was alive. There's, like when you were 2, when you were 3, right before your mom left, she made one last cake of this type, and like you had maybe on like the last day that you remember like seeing your mom. You remember eating some of this cake. Like she had prepared it for like a noble or something, and she saved you a slice so that you could have some. And then you remember her like vanishing the next day without a trace.
Cry a little bit.
I think you do. I think that's like perfectly reasonable. You see this cake and you like you cry a
crawl
little.
up next to Stool and I'm just like crying.
Everybody's crying. Jerish is crying in a chair. Stool is crying in a chair. Leonora's crying in a chair.
Jerish is crying because
He's sad.
Kimber just said at 5 times volume as he thrust his scimitar one final time
Oh my.
into her deep belly. Oh, I've been thinking this out. A single tear fell from his eye.
That is not why Jerish is crying.
This is
And he
why
lo-
Kimber is crying.
and
This
he
is
left
Kimber.
her.
Kimber weeps a single tear of motor oil.
To refill his beer for
What
him.
the fuck?
Yeah.
It's a moving moment.
Kimber then pats Jerusha on the head and walks away.
Okay. So, I think that you guys have like experienced all the delights that this room has to offer. Congratulations on rolling the number that you rolled, because maybe this never would have happened had you not. But I do want you to know that you've had a short rest. So if you need to roll any hit dice, if you can get anything back over a short rest, you've had one.
Let me see. I was too busy talking.
And you guys go back into the tunnel out of the hole, and like it's still a very dark tunnel, and there's still a point of light that you can see at the very tail end of it. And somebody should roll a d20.
Who's rolling?
I rolled this room.
Lady Peregrine is taking the lead
Not 12.
because she was so uncomfortable by the things that Leonora was asking her about. So she's like exactly ready. You got a 13?
No.
She's
Not a 12.
very ready to get out of the room. So she sort of jumps out and so you guys all
I'm directing us. I'm not actually in the front.
No,
I mean-
but you, because you're directing everybody to leave, you get to roll the survival check. Or the roll on the
Let's go.
Table.
Oh, do I need to do a D12? No, just a
No, you already did it. It's a d20, so that's what I had you roll already. Okay.
Carrying
I'm
Jerusha
sorry,
like
my
a
dice
baby.
are all over.
This is how my
A
people
front
carry
baby, a
babies.
back baby, a this
No,
baby.
it's over my shoulder. Like firemen's carry. That's how we
So
carry
you're
our.
carrying Jerusha like a sack of potatoes.
That's how we carry our babies.
That's a
So
great
you guys
gift.
are going
My dad would put us in blankets when we were little
down.
and wrap us up like
Yep.
And spin.
You guys notice that as you keep moving towards like the pinprick of light, it is going down. And when I say it, I mean like the entire sort of tunnel scenario, like generally downward trend. The tunnel widens again after the crack in the wall. So you guys can walk side by side instead of like in single file, which is how you were having to do it until you got to the feast room.
Ever.
And as you get towards this pinprick of light, it gets bigger and bigger and then becomes an archway. Like that. And you guys can like...
That's how you want to draw it.
I'm not done. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Good one, John.
Shut up! So you
That's-
guys get
that's
into
better?
this very...
Oh my god. What is that entering?
You guys get into this very large room.
You can't fix this. You can't.
Is there a
fix
tunnel
it.
coming off this
There's
side?
a door. There's a door going this way.
Oh my gosh.
It's an iron grate. And you guys get into this room. It's sort of blinding at first. All the
Is there a
stone.
stream going through the iron gate?
No. All the stone is
Not
white.
yet.
All the stone is white. It's like it looks like a very clean cut marble room. So you guys all enter this room, and all of you can make a perception check to see what all you gather.
Natural 1.
You don't see anything. It's just all really white. Your eyes are not unaccustomed to the bright.
I gather this room looks like a penis.
I got
Are
it.
we
What'd you
doing
get?
insight?
Yeah. And
13.
I have a perception we're doing.
26.
oh, perception. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Holla?
It's got like
Holla.
green
26.
onions and some sesame oil. In it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I'll,
What's the question?
So I get this back.
Okay.
So it's I roll a d10 to regain d10 plus my wisdom
Mhm.
to add it to my dust.
Yeah.
And then if any
Okay.
extra gets turned into temporary HP,
Yep.
and it
Wait.
says
What is that round thing?
4 HP for every dust
Potato?
I get.
For every
It's a
extra
little
stuff.
So it's
Potato.
10 plus 4 times 4.
Is it?
You because
10?
you hadn't spent any dust.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Okay.
10
Just
plus
making sure.
10 plus 4 times
10
4.
plus 4 in parentheses times 4?
Yes. Yes.
no.
What?
Connor?
Oh no, wait. It's 10, which is the extra, that's the number you rolled,
Yeah.
times 4, so 40,
40
plus your
4.
wisdom, so 44.
44.
Yeah. So you have 44 extra hit points until your next short rest.
Wait, for this one?
What?
No, not you guys, just her.
Yeah.
She used one of her things. And so the whole idea behind that is that
I think supposedly I would have used more.
yeah, you theoretically you would have used more dust, but because you didn't,
Since
you
we're
Well, because
friends,
I
you
had
might
mine.
get that too.
I think it's because the long rest was so recent.
yeah, exactly. That is what it is. I mean, you guys long rested like 3 hours ago
I think the
tops.
only one who lost any hit points was me.
And so
From breathing.
you've essentially like wasted your
Do the spiders do any damage?
Is that
what? No, it's a duck.
Is that a poop in a dick?
It's not a poop and a dick.
Oh.
It's
Okay,
not a
that's
poop
not-
and a dick. It's
Is
a
it-
duck.
Is it a dick in a box?
Okay, so
No, it's a duck
you
in a,
guys
it's a duck
enter
in a
this
dick.
It's
room,
a duck and a dick in a box.
and who got the highest perception check? All right.
maybe? 26?
Yeah, I think you got the highest. You see this pool of water that's right at the tip of this room. It is beautiful. It's like this.
You're doing this on purpose.
It's
the head, one
crystal
might say.
clear. It's pristine water, and there's a
Pearly.
single duck floating on the top of the water. It's beautiful. It's like, and he like
What
looks
does the
at
duck
you.
look like?
It's a normal duck.
What color?
What?
Is it
Yeah.
a
It's a
what
brown
Is it
duck.
Is it a
banded
mallard?
duck?
Is it a dusky?
No,
It
wait,
doesn't
wait,
have
wait,
the
wait,
type of
sorry.
magic on the duck.
It's a white duck with orange beak and orange feet. It's like a farm
Like
duck.
Peking
And
duck.
like when you make eye contact with it, it goes,
Aflac. Aflac.
and it's just
Should be
like
sponsored
floating
by
in the
Apple.
water and kind of like swimming around.
But wouldn't everybody else have seen this too?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was just telling you because you got the highest, but everybody else sees it too.
You just saw it a second before us.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with a 26 perception, you see it,
Wait, is this?
but only 500 milliseconds before.
Wait, is this still dark in here?
No, it's actually really bright. There's like torches on all the walls, but they're glowing white, so it's very, very bright in this room, which is why it was a pinprick of light when you guys were like a really, really long way away. Down
I don't like the look of this duck.
I'm gonna go into the restroom.
What's a duck?
Have you seen it?
That thing over there.
I don't know what that
You
is.
guys,
It's a duck.
They're
I just
for
told
eating.
you.
you guys can make like Arcana or whatever kind of checks you want to do.
Why is a duck underground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you ask that question, it goes.
Can the duck breathe methane?
I actually
Does
speak
anybody
duck.
have speak with animals?
I speak duck.
I can turn into a spider.
Do it.
I can't do
You
that.
can turn into a spider to talk to the duck.
Yeah, I can't actually do
I know.
I can add the duck to my circle, my group chat.
that. Yeah.
Ooh, do
I
I
it.
wonder if that might
Have
work.
a high
Yeah,
enough
that's a
intelligence?
possibility. Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Probably not.
Does anybody see my cat guys?
Who needs better initiative? Because I can give that to somebody.
I have -1.
You have -1. That's pretty bad. Is it good for you to go at the beginning though?
No,
I
we
can
don't
hunt
want
things.
to.
I was gonna say.
I hunt things and then you guys can attack it.
I'm gonna, Leonora, if you're going to the duck in the dick, then you should have some advantage on initiative.
It's not far away.
So, yeah, you
Wait,
got
what are you
that now.
doing?
Oh, the big
I'm
one.
adding the
Yeah.
duck to our group chat.
Okay.
And I gave her advantage on her next initiative roll.
The duck doesn't have enough intelligence to speak to you telepathically, so that's fine.
Does it just quack in our heads?
Are you going to like speak to her, or speak
Her.
to him?
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a her.
Who has best animal handling? Who's been around animals a lot more? I
I don't
haven't.
know what a duck is, so.
My
No,
animal
that's not
Ducks
you.
should not live underground. because
is
They do not
plus
live in the
0.
desert.
He looks very happy. He's like, and
Leonora,
like he's
you're
just like
generally
swimming
happy.
around in a little water. It's very beautiful.
Leonora should
I'm
go talk to it.
exactly normal.
Oh, I will
Is-
say
is
that
this
like
some type of monster.
I will say that like
This
the
is
pool
what you
of
wanna,
water
like,
is
attack,
kind
not
of
the
like
spiders.
up a little bit, and like there's stairs that
Did you miss?
sort of do
Kimber
this whole
does
thing up to him.
He's on a
He's like elevated. Yeah.
It's a duck dais.
Yeah.
I
So
love-
like the duck is like
Does the duck have a little necklace?
nope,
It's a duck
Could
ass on
the
a
duck
dick.
have a little necklace?
nope.
I want the duck to have a little necklace.
That duck is gonna have a necklace by the end of this.
It's not. He doesn't. He's completely unadorned. He seems like a normal duck.
Does this duck serve in the military at all?
Is there anything I can roll for?
Maybe the Navy?
Are you gonna go look at him?
She's going
Is
up.
it a fighter pilot?
I'm gonna walk up this.
Is
Is
it
it
a,
Okay.
step,
is it a
steps.
seaman?
Yeah, you guys can go look at him. The duck.
That's what it
the duck
is.
quacks
How large
gently.
is the duck? 'Cause he's a lot
He's
bigger
not
than
drawn
I
to
am.
scale. He's not drawn to scale.
Okay.
He's
That's
just
a
a
big
normal.
ass duck.
He's a normal ass duck. Normal duck. And so yeah, Leonora, you can make an investigation check if you want, or animal handling, whatever you think would be
I cast
appropriate.
guidance.
What does
Oh,
that do?
yes.
Gives her.
I also cast guidance.
Okay.
D4?
You get 2d4 added to whatever your ability check is.
Where's the bowl?
Bowls are in the. There's a couple
no
in there,
bowls.
or they're in the dishwasher.
one's
They're
in-
clean.
One, I was gonna say,
They're
yeah, the
clean in
one
the
doesn't count. You can
dishwasher.
re-roll it.
Okay.
Okay.
11 plus. What were we doing?
What is it, Will?
We can do
Animal
guidance
handling?
on
You
it.
can do whatever you want.
What skill do you want to interact with this
Animal.
What are you
Aminal?
trying to do to the duck, Leonora?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do the duck on the dais
I
in the
think
dick?
I want to look first to see if there's anything I can like perceive as like particular
Okay.
before I act. Like I might roll. You could make me roll again if you want for like animal handling, but I'm not gonna like engage the duck.
I'm probably gonna follow
Right
'cause
away.
I'm intrigued by this.
Okay.
This creature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can make animal handling if you want.
Okay,
Stool and
so
Kimber
my
are
first
close
roll
behind.
for like, I guess perception
Okay.
would be, or investigation.
You cast banishment.
Are you trying to see it or
Good
check it
too.
out?
I'm trying to
You know
check
what,
it out.
duck?
I would investigate.
Okay.
You can polymorph the duck into a goose.
And then you could give the goose a knife and set it loose.
I was thinking ugly duckling, but I like
13
that.
to investigate.
It's a normal ass duck.
I also rolled a 26 when I walked into the room.
To perceive the duck.
Perceive.
You perceived it, and you perceived it so good. It is a duck.
Okay.
And like the wall is white. There's white torches. It's very well lit, and there's one doorway that looks like it's blocked by an iron grate in the back of the room.
Okay. Now I'm gonna roll. Should we talk to it now? Or try to get to it?
I put my hands down by the water, like trying
See
to
if
get
the
it
duck does something.
come
It
towards
goes
me.
and sort of like swims
Towards me or away?
away
Give it bread.
Get back here, you damn duck!
like a normal duck. Like if you put your hands in the water, a normal duck would be like and like swim away.
I
So that's what
have,
it is.
I have gentle giant,
Get off.
therefore smaller creatures are not as afraid of me.
You can make an animal handling check with advantage.
While they're checking out the duck, I would like to inspect the room for traps or hidden levers.
Only 13.
Okay. Make a investigation check.
Did your Grisha bring any of his fairy bread along?
Hate it.
I got 16 for animal handling. Ooh, I pocketed some
Sorry.
cake. Can I put it in the water?
Yeah. Sure.
I sprinkled
With an animal handling of 16, the duck would be like and like swim up to you, eat the bread, and then sort of like away.
No, come here, ducky. We won't
What'd
hurt
you get?
13.
Why are
He sort of like eyes you when he's swimming up to Leonora to like eat her bread. He like sort of like eyes you from the side, and like gets a little closer than he does to anybody else, but then swims away.
19.
For
Traps or secret levers.
you don't see anything. Like this is a very normal room. Like the back door is closed. There's a grate, but there's also a lever right next to it that, like you assume, would lift the gate.
Not a normal
I'm gonna
room.
check
There's not.
out.
There's much
I got a
light and not
15
normal.
for animal handling.
Okay. The duck swims away from you.
I said, get back here, duck!
Oh, it swims very hard after that. It's like.
There's a lever. Should we leave the duck in peace?
Oh no, I think this duck said something bad to me.
I don't know why this duck is underground.
That's disturbing.
It's above water.
Can we just try to speak to it? Maybe it understands like calming.
How is it on top of the water?
Ducks
Duck.
float.
Witches don't.
Oh. Wood
Do you,
floats?
dear?
No.
Yes.
Do I?
Not you. No, not you. God forbid.
You
I
mean-
thought you were talking to him.
Oh, I thought like you, Lindsay's character.
E-W-E.
She's busy
Or
dangling
Y-E-W,
from an 8-foot-tall
Y-E-W.
snake
I don't know.
that's
So
soaring
many.
right
There's so many
now.
spellings of
That's
you.
true.
Baby boars.
Anybody else speak to animals?
Nope. We're not druids.
Well,
We're not
uh,
druids.
Actually, I don't think you did.
Huh?
I don't
You didn't.
think so.
I don't think I speak to animals.
She would, however, be all about speaking to Stool.
Oh yeah, she would be.
Oh, you?
Mm-hmm. She's a mushroom user now.
The duck just kind of quacks.
I'm gonna go by the door.
I fill up my water skin.
Okay.
I don't.
Do an Arcana check.
Okay.
I wonder if we're talking about something that can talk to us.
You have the worst magic rules for a caster.
I light a candle.
Okay.
Are you still
The color's
engaged
flame.
with the duck?
Yeah.
Flame color?
I'm like dangling my
I don't know if it
my
just lights
finger.
up.
Oh. That's an interesting one.
Wait, what?
No, it's normal flame.
Ducky, come here.
Arvindr, come look at this gate.
Okay.
That's-
Closed. Like churchy closed.
The duck kind of goes
Like the pastors might.
and like swims closer when you tell it to come closer.
This duck is dumb.
Well, I don't mean you any harm.
Tell us about this gate here. Is it
I'm
magical?
investigating this gate.
Jerusha,
It's
come
a
help
gate
us tell
or a
this collie
13.
duck over.
Freaking clue.
For a 13 with perception, you would see a lever right next to it that you think might lift it.
Should I pull the lever?
Do
I
it.
don't
Give me
see any
the
reason
thing.
why not.
Go for it,
I
Arvindr.
pull the lever.
Okay,
Do you want dip?
you pull it. It opens. The gate just like kind of slides up. It doesn't make much of a noise.
After you.
If you're all
just
quite
a
finished
duck.
The
with
duck kind of goes.
He's not happy, guys. I don't know
Who
that we
cares?
should
It's
have
a
done
dumb
it.
duck.
He's welcome to join
What's
us.
past the gate? Like if I'm looking down the hall, do I see
Dark
anything?
tunnel.
Dark vision?
Infinite dark vision.
You see a split at the end of another fort. This one's 3-way.
I read about those.
Shut up. I hate you. I hate you.
There's 3 tunnels up ahead, guys. And 6 people.
Do you think I'll be able to pass through them all?
Do I think would fit through the tunnel?
Make a perception check.
20.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
I miss my children.
The one on the right looks like it will. Shut up. The one on the right looks like it will be a little bit of a squeeze, but he can make it through.
Is there a ledge around the pool?
Nope. I mean, yeah. There's like. I mean, it's not just like.
It's not a mirror. What do they call it?
How
Infinity
deep does
pool?
it look?
Is it at least as wide as this?
The what? One second. There. So. The pool itself is really big. The duck is very small. I'd say that the ledge is probably about half as wide as the bench. And it's about 6 inches beneath the water. Sort of like a bench. So like if like the edge of the pool is like this, the ledge is like right here.
Okay.
The pool is as deep as the stairs are, so it's about like 15 feet.
So what's holding the water in?
It's like an elevated thing.
It's like an above ground swimming pool.
Exactly.
Stick my head in the pool.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Do you absorb water?
Mm.
Ooh.
You're gonna get more.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Investigate.
I mean, the mushrooms in my yard grow really fast when it rains.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
The stool's
That's
suddenly
true.
like twice as
A
tall.
9.
There's just a lot of water down there. It's so funny. Like, you were expecting there to be some sort of magical something or another, but no, it's just water. Honestly, you're surprised at how clear it is. You can see all the way to the bottom. It's just like a 15-foot deep pool.
You see any poop down there? Is there any poop down there?
I roll for poop.
Yeah, you can roll for poop.
Natural 20.
There is some duck poop,
There better be.
So he's been there a while.
and you were like investigating. You stuck your head under, and the duck goes.
What do ducks eat?
What is this duck?
Red.
Make an animal handling check.
Or nature?
Plants.
No. Animal handling. For ducks, what do ducks eat?
Oh,
10.
damn. 24.
Ooh.
You know that ducks eat duckweed and like
That's what duck.
plants and like they they sometimes eat like shrimp and like other little fish,
No.
Mushrooms?
but they they eat like plants. They're omnivores.
Yeah. What is this duck eating?
I'm gonna throw the duck one of my mushrooms.
Make an investigation check on it. Now that you know what it eats.
Will.
It's
People.
not gonna be good.
What?
I'm gonna throw the duck one of my D100 mushrooms.
Okay.
I have 14 on the investigation.
It's funny. You know what the ducks eat. You know what all ducks eat, actually, because you're so good at, like, animals.
I'm so wise.
There's literally nothing in here that the duck could eat.
Yeah.
But it seems hale and happy.
Who has detect magic?
I think this duck's gonna try and eat us, guys.
Music.
That's why we should go into
I-
this tunnel.
I
Let's
throw
leave.
it
Yes.
a 94.
Oh, what?
Oh, on the mushroom.
94 mushroom.
Okay. Are you gonna feed it to the duck?
Yeah.
Oh.
I threw it up towards the duck.
Okay.
Is that a good mushroom?
Okay.
Or a really bad mushroom?
You just wasted a great thing on the time.
The duck is now immortal and has a wish. It wishes for poop.
You pulled a mushroom out of your bag that looks like it's like a beautiful red heart in this shape. And it's like beating very gently, and you throw it towards the duck, and the duck is like,
Is it not charging?
and it swims over and eats the mushroom, and is suddenly glowing and like very, very clean, and it looks like it has been like renewed and like given a new like lease on life.
I put my hands out for it to come towards me now.
Make an animal.
She's got like a mushroom
15.
great respiration.
Yeah, so the duck will
Laundry room?
the duck will like kind of go and like swim towards you, and it'll like nibble on you a little bit. It'll be like,
So, take it out.
just so you know, what that mushroom did was
Restore all its hit points and remove all of its curses.
and increase its HP maximum by 1.
Aha!
So that mushroom did it very well. It is feeling so good. And it knows that you're responsible for that, so it's gonna be like, meh. And it sort of like rubbed its head against your hand.
Can I
You
pet it?
you can stroke the duck.
Can I pet it?
Make an animal handling check.
Oh, yes! 20. Nat 20 plus 4.
Yeah, you can. You can pet it. And when you run your fingers along its back, you hear one word. Like something is like popping into your head.
Run.
And it sounds like wish. It's like the duck is speaking to you directly. Like into your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear it say like wish after a quack, and then go quack, and then it quacks again, and then that's all. You only hear it once.
Is there a wish you want to make, little ducky? Maybe we should wish for
World peace.
something. All no more encounters. We've solved everything.
Blood marbles.
Can we hear you saying that we should wish for something?
It
It
depends
was
on
in
what.
my head. Oh, did you?
I mean,
Did you
Yeah, I said it aloud, so you can
We're at
say.
the gate.
Yeah,
so-
you can say like, what did you say?
Wait, what?
I heard the duck say wish to me. Just one word.
Does the duck have a wish?
I don't know. I don't know if the duck wishes something or
We
if
should
the
wish for
duck
the-
wants us to wish for something.
We should wish for the duck to be able to talk.
We could wish
Yeah.
to get safely to his underground house.
Let's wait for Lady. Jerusha, what do you think we should wish for?
Don't let Jerusha say it. He's gonna end up accidentally triggering the spell.
Jared says, I don't think we should wish for anything. This sort of stuff is always the stuff that, like, wishes and deals and that sort of thing is always the stuff that they told me never to deal with in my time in the academy.
You're not wrong.
Kimber pats
Did you
Jerusha on
get
the
it?
head and says, "Oh boy, you have a lot to learn. I mean, I'm young, but damn."
I think we should wish for it to talk. So then we can have conversations with it.
You gotta enunciate.
Yeah.
I think if you waste a wish spell on talking to a duck, I will personally chop off your head.
Should we wish for Lincoln?
Wait
Yes.
for Yizik to return. Wait for Yizik to return.
Wish for Yizik to return right now.
Well, I think we should wait, for Lindsay.
Wish
Or we could, I wonder, should we take the duck with us?
for. Could we wish that
Oh, he's happy here.
Lady Peregrine?
You can make an animal handling check to see if you can take him out of the water if you want.
Well, he's already out
That's
of the
the
water.
I think that'd be a good wish.
No, you're not.
He's holding him.
No, he just stroked him on the head.
But I picked him up.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no, sorry. No, he screams if you try to pick him up, but you can pet him on the head. I'm sorry,
Oh, wait.
I misheard.
Okay, no problem. He doesn't want to be picked up?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He is very clearly intent upon staying in the water, but he lets you pet him because you fed him with a really good mushroom.
Cast destroy water on all the Don't have that.
You cast a spell magic.
Remove curse.
I do have curse, I think, too.
I do too.
Oh, Lord, I thought I'd knock that chair over again. The bread is really good, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Since I had no idea what I was doing.
It's very good.
You
And
know,
it was
very,
not cooperating at
It
all.
was, no, it was not being friendly.
you have very good bread handling skills.
Well, Sarah definitely helped with that, too.
Just needed, 2 handfuls more of flour.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Which was ridiculous for the amount that I had put in before that, too. Like, it was, yeah.
They're trying to decide what to do with the duck.
The duck says wish.
Yeah, I pet the duck and the duck said wish. And so now,
We're trying to
They're
decide
trying to decide if we should use
if
a
the
wish or
duck
try
has
to
a wish,
do
or
a
if we should make a wish. Or
we
if
can't
should
take
just
the
keep
duck
going.
with us.
Why?
Jerusha,
It
It
screams
screams
and
if we
tries to
try to
stay
pick
in.
it up, but he'll let us pet him.
Jerusha said don't do any wishes. Stool says wish for the duck to talk to us.
Jarish just said, okay, so let me expound upon what Jarish said. Jarish is like, I was always told in the academy, in the temple district, that making wishes with beings that you don't understand is always a terrible idea. I was always told
Darling,
that.
it's a duck.
Boy, you're in the real world now.
And see, that's the thing. It's like
Man up.
he specifically says that in the temple district. So like, I think that everybody would kind of understand that like, there's a aspect of like, oh, wishes are bad. Like you
He's an
have
undergrad
to be.
that thinks he knows everything.
Oh my god. Don't even get me started. Yep.
Drink up.
So what are we wishing for or not wishing for?
But you're having a fun time.
I'm having a great time. I am.
Should we leave the duck?
Duck is just like.
I would wish that we are able to get to his mushroom house
safely.
Do you
so
say that?
hypothetically.
Hypothetically,
Okay.
we're
I
world
wish
discussing.
that we could go, like, that our group could, like, safely make it to his place.
That works.
That's not a bad idea.
If
What
we
do you
have a
think,
wish,
Stool? You want to go home?
I miss my kids.
Oh God.
where did you leave your kids?
Kids!
Well, that way we can save your people and take down the castle and.
I mean, there's that too.
Okay. Let's
You
see if it
guys
works.
are our last hope on saving my kind.
Now, if we try to, just out of, curiosity, if we try to kill somebody,
Connor.
are you going to try and save them even though we're coming down there to save your people?
Yeah,
It
you're right. If
depends
it's
on
the
who
slave
it is.
people.
I mean, if it's like DuPont and whomever your generals are.
Roundup. And,
Roundup and
Monsanto.
Monsanto.
The name that shall not be spoken. I will not protect them.
Okay.
Done harm to my family, my
Okay.
community.
Just want to make sure.
What about the duck?
I like the duck.
I think the duck has to stay here.
That's what
How should we word this wish?
We
I
can-
am not smart
We can
enough
wish
to do
for the
that.
duck to come with us
No.
as an
That
NPC.
Be a wish.
The duck
We've
would
accumulated
probably-
Jerusha and a duck.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, maybe we should wish for Bartholomew to join us.
We just want a posse.
Fuck.
He was great.
Oh! I need to find fuck still.
Bartholomew was my favorite.
He was great.
Ew.
Bartholomew was pretty great.
Okay, wait.
So what are we doing?
How are we wording this wish?
The duck just goes.
How did the duck say wish?
No one else heard it except for her.
It sounded into my mom.
That sounds suspicious.
Maybe.
Stool had just made the duck very.
He's just swimming
This
around.
is true.
He swims over to
I
some
mean, the
to
duck
some
have
bread
one
that
more
somebody threw in there
HP.
earlier, and he goes and eats it.
What does he?
The bread. I assume that somebody threw some bread for him to eat, and he just kind of like swims over to it, and
Muffin crumbs.
yeah, he eats it.
Oh,
Can I put some motor oil in there?
No, don't salute the ducks.
Dog does not like that.
He sort of swims away from the
Okay.
motor oil.
He doesn't like my food, guys.
You just
Apparently,
made
this is what I eat.
an,
now.
you made an oil spill in his little pond.
I'm not apologizing for you giving me motor oil. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not doing it. I'm not apologizing.
You shouldn't.
You eat motor oil. That's what you eat now.
What would you rather eat?
I'm glad,
Ain't nothing.
I'm glad
I don't know.
Roundup hasn't made it to this water source.
Thankful.
Well, it is isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Or
He lives
say
in a little pool.
we eat the duck or we make the duck wish.
Thoughts?
We make the duck wish.
Like not like it could be like a genie. We wish for the duck to have its innermost desire.
We should wish for more wishes.
Even I know that's not how that works, and I do nothing magical whatsoever, ever, never, ever.
Yeah.
Counters that?
I'm bored with this duck.
Me too.
I'm gonna throw a dagger down one of the hallways to see if anything happens.
There's one hallway off that way, and it's. Did you guys pull a lever?
I wish
Yeah,
for
we
the
did it
duck.
open?
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
gate is open. The
Wait,
gate's open.
I can't make the wish, so I can't talk. So
It does not
Leonora, you're the
impact
smartest
anything.
of us,
It's
right?
just like an empty tunnel.
Can you figure out a way?
Does
Yeah,
it
I
hit
mean,
the floor
just
eventually?
word it.
Yeah,
like-
I mean you hear it kind of
We
clatter
would like
down,
to
but
we wish that we could safely be transported to Stools. What would you say your homeland is like?
community,
Compost
Forest?
heap.
Mushroom Village?
fungal forest.
Yeah, safely.
Oh no, cave.
Together.
Fungal cave.
Okay.
Because you would need to be able to describe it to like mimic the effects of a teleport spell.
My book.
Because right, that's how wish works. It can mimic any like lower level spell.
I don't know if it's even wish.
No.
Could just be a duck.
That's just
That's the one word I learned to say.
We're spending
Carrot duck.
all this time
Well, I
to
guess
do
we'll try
literally.
it. Because if it is just the word that we've learned to say, then we'll just keep going.
It's fair.
So,
I've never known a duck that learned to say anything. We never even had that in the circus.
The
The duck
number
didn't
one
actually say
DM
anything.
rule: if you don't know what to do, just make them have something, and they'll just be
I gave Devin
intrigued by it.
I gave Devin a ring with wish and you guys never used it.
The duck, it must be something. It's a duck.
I did get this one from the internet. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was hilarious. So.
I was like, wait, the DM always puts something important, but there's a duck. I must know everything about this duck.
Exactly. And also, I'll have you know, I have everything planned out too. So like, I didn't just do this because I didn't have anything else planned. I actually know exactly what you guys are gonna do.
Oh.
Make a duck wish or not.
Oh well, I mean beyond that, like overarching storyline,
Hmm.
not like what you're gonna do to get there.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I wish we teleport to the Frost Forge.
You said that?
No, I can't talk. I may know about the Frost Forge.
Probably not, since you live
okay,
underground.
fine. I'll say that we wish to go to Stool's fungal home cave.
That's gonna.
Safely.
This is gonna be like.
And together.
This is
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
we're gonna
now
end up in a
it's
giant's butthole.
No, it's gonna be like the Magic School Bus episode where they went inside Arnold in the cheesy puff, except we're gonna be inside of Stool in his fungal cave.
Hey, yep. That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's what's gonna happen.
So what exactly did you say? Say it again.
Tell me what to say.
I'm not saying it.
Not you.
We wish to travel or
Safely.
safe travel
And
to-
together.
safe and together to Stool's fungal
To our
forest
friend Stool. Not random Stool, but our friend
Our
Stool.
friend Stool's home.
Below the city. That is.
Where that is?
Yeah, we have no idea where it is, but Stool knows.
That
Why are
Stool
you dying
knows.
from laughter?
The duck goes "Wah," and like raises its wings and goes "Wah," and vanishes.
Alright, let's keep going down.
It just magically disappears.
Alright.
You guys-
Did we just wish for him to go to Stool's home?
We'll find him in Stool's home.
Wait, is that what happened?
You guys wished for, I believe it was travel to Stool's fungal home.
That
We
we together
Together.
Okay.
Yeah.
travel safely.
The duck's gonna make it there in one piece.
You together travel safely, which has a variety of interpretations, to Stool's fungal form. The duck just vanished.
To Stool's fungal home.
Home,
Or
sorry.
island.
Fungal home.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna travel safely, unharmed, to Stool's fungal home together.
Yeah.
Roll a d20 to see what the next tunnel is.
Wait,
Who?
I
was
think we
gonna
should
say.
take
It's what you two are in front.
the
you're in front.
left tunnel.
Oh, it's the 3 tunnels. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got 3
The
tunnels.
Let's
left
pick which tunnel we go first.
Yeah, so there's
Left,
there's
middle,
3 of
right.
them up in front of you.
Yeah, the right one's narrower than the other.
Yeah, you notice that the right one is narrower.
I like the left tunnel.
Okay.
Okay, so roll a d20. Actually, roll 3 d20s real quick. Let me see what each of them are. So the first one,
19.
the first one that you rolled is a 10.
10 to
We
19.
already had a 19.
Okay.
The 19 was the delightful feast room.
Yep. 10. So roll the 19 again.
20.
Okay, so you guys are going to the leftmost rooms.
It was 10, then 2, then 20, and we're going to the left.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you guys. Let's see.
Are you sad that the duck disappeared?
Yeah.
It's okay. This
Oh,
happens
re-roll the
sometimes.
19 real
It was a
quick.
20.
Oh, okay.
10 to 20.
Okay. So
Where
yeah,
did
so
Mr.
there's
Duck go?
so you guys
I don't
get
know.
into
Let's
the
follow our friends.
two room. And yeah, so you guys are walking that way, and here, let me draw what you see.
Slice?
I can't believe you guys wished for safe travel
Time.
Oh, there's. I was gonna say there's.
to.
Don't use the bread knife because it's touched onions.
Oh, I guess
And onions are not going to taste good in an apple cake.
That's true. If only there were.
It's just funny to me
Two
that you
knife
guys
blocks.
wished for safe travel to
Why is that
his
funny?
fungal home, because safe travel could mean like a variety of different things.
I mean, safe travel.
It means safe travel, but it also means like if you had said teleport, that would be different. But you said safe travel, so
We get to walk.
But we'll arrive there eventually and
and
we-
safely.
We won't die on
all
the way.
together.
You all won't die.
I mean,
He
if we
doesn't
run
mean
into
that we
any
won't come
more
close to
fart
dying.
tunnels,
I
close
don't know.
is fine.
Okay, so you guys are coming through this tunnel. You've left the duck room, and it's beautiful white lights. All of you have infinite dark vision because Jonathan's character is disgustingly overpowered. And you guys come down this tunnel, and you see that like in front of you, there's basically a giant open room, and when I say giant, I mean like your vision kind of peters out on either side. Like despite the fact that you have infinite dark vision, like you still can't perceive past like a certain distance because that's just like the way that eyes work. So on either side it peters out, and then in front of you it also peters out, but there's a giant hole in front of you with like a giant dark like pitch black bottom that you can't see the bottom of. It's like essentially like a giant hole in the ground, and like it's a chasm.
An outhouse.
I turned out over.
Is Florida?
And I will say that like as you guys kind of traverse the tunnel, you noticed it sloping like definitely downward. There was no like slippery slopes or anything, but you guys after the duck room, there was a distinct downward trend, and the tunnel went from like sort of bricked in to like rough hewn again, and like a more natural cave look.
A little dense, but
And so
It's
you guys have descended about like 100 to 200 feet. You're not sure how far, but you're much deeper than you were before. And there's this giant chasm that's black at the bottom.
So I'm feeling more closer to home.
Yeah, you.
The
I think
the
that.
level of
Yeah, you could make an insight check actually.
I rolled a 16 to see if it smells like poop.
It doesn't.
9.
You think you're closer to home, but you have no idea how much closer. I think that like with a 9, you would
Just
kind
right,
of
like level.
yeah, you would kind of get like maybe like the sense of your like fungal people below you, and you think that you're closer to them than you have been before because you couldn't smell them before, but you're not sure like how deep
Yeah.
you would need to go after this point, but you know that you're closer. You get the sense that they are closer to you than they were before.
I got a 28 on perception.
You canonically do that.
What are you percepting
I want to see as far as I can see and as down as I
in
can
either
see.
direction? Okay, so you
Every-
looking in every direction that you can
And also probably hearing. I'm
You-
trying to see if I hear anything.
to the
Yeah, exactly.
to the left and right. There's cave walls about 300 feet
Okay.
apart from you.
Really good.
So like on either side,
Mhm.
there's 300 feet, and then there's like a solid cave wall. Down, you look down and you see probably like 500, 600, even 700 feet down, and you're not sure what's at the bottom. Like, you can't see past that because,
Dark,
like,
you can fly.
the physiological limitations. Yeah, it is dark. There's no torches. The light from the thing, from the duck room has faded.
This is when we need Warlock with Eldritch Blast at 300 feet.
Send it off.
But yeah, so you can't see the bottom of this hole, but
Nobody fall into this thing.
Okay.
Can we see the other side?
You can't actually. With a perception check of 28, I'm assuming that you're looking across.
Yeah,
You can
it's gonna-
see-
and again, trying to hear
You
for anything
you
too.
see like very, very, very far.
Mm-hmm.
Like farther than you could fly in one
Yeah.
turn, for sure.
Well,
Maybe there's like another ledge, but like you're not sure that it's another ledge. It might just be a wall. And and this is not like because your dark vision isn't far enough. It's because like
Just normal
you physically
sights, too.
can't see that far.
I'll give you that guidance.
I say we go take another tunnel.
There is no other tunnel, so you guys have
we
taken.
can go back.
You guys have gone this far forward, and you can't see a way forward from here.
Right,
Yeah,
so we
that's
can go
Except
back
for
and try.
down.
Back.
That's
We
Except
can
for
try one of
down,
the other
and I will remind you guys that your goal is down.
But we couldn't see. I could not see 500, 600, 700 feet down. So
Jim's drone.
Yeah, I
We
don't have
do
that
need-
much room.
Cannonball!
I was about to do that in the duck
Tread
path.
tunnel.
You guys do have spells.
Is this going around?
Nah, not very helpful.
I don't have
Yeah,
spells.
but it goes off like 300 feet, and then it starts curving, and it's a very huge distance.
But I thought this was the hole.
It is.
This Peter's
Does this go all the way around?
Mm-mm.
It
I
runs
drew
into
that
a
to
wall?
like show you how big it is. You guys are like at the thinnest part, if that makes sense.
But like, is there a ledge that goes?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's like a solid drop. This is like a straight down. Like if you guys peer over the edge, there's not like any ledge beneath you. This is very good.
We could trust it and just jump. We did.
I could go down first. I mean,
The duck
There's
assured
no
us
light.
we wouldn't die
If
if the duck
that's
worked.
assuming. I mean, a vanishing duck. Are you gonna really trust it?
I'm so shook that you guys use the language we will travel to. There's so many interpretations of that.
I
So,
was
but,
thinking about teleport,
so
but
if I jump down this hole, I should be able to arrive safely in one piece at the bottom.
if you believe the duck.
If I believe in the duck,
Sure.
which I might not believe in the duck, but
The question is not for me, Sarah. It's whether or not Arvindr believes in the duck.
I'm gonna roll.
I can't answer that question.
Well, that's a 19 for believing in the duck.
You can float gently.
Make
I
a, is that a religion check maybe?
Over here.
I made
If it's a religion, it's a 19.
I think that you probably do believe in the duck.
I believe in the duck, guys.
Alright.
I'm gonna jump.
That's a
Why don't
weird
we
thing to
send-
believe in.
Kimber down.
I can.
Or I jump in the hole.
Oh. Okay.
I jumped after.
Okay.
I'm choosing to believe in the duck.
I can turn into a ball of gas and go down.
I mean, I can fly, so I don't care what all I
Alright.
want to do.
So here's what's gonna happen, Arvindr.
I literally have
I was
nothing
thinking about
that
carrying
can prevent
Jerusha
falling
and or
damage or-
Lady Peregrine.
That's okay.
Do it.
That's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Once I see her run and jump, I'm jumping also.
Okay. So here's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think I say, I trust the duck! And then I go.
Okay.
That's a mistake.
So
And I picked these two up.
rather than taking the
Ah,
70d6 of falling damage that would recur,
Wait, can I catch her first?
Are you coming down and gas your
what
storm?
why would you
How
need to
could
catch her?
me?
because Stool's
I jumped
Squishy.
right after her.
But what are you catching her for?
To
How can you
stop
catch
the,
me?
like grabbing her.
Well,
But what are you
can
doing?
fly.
One second.
I turn into gas. And I'm going down.
I'm flying with these two
I
on my
grab
back.
her and I have feather fall.
Do you?
With my scarf.
Oh no, you can't hold someone with featherfall.
It's
The
me.
the scarf is on you. Yeah.
So I have, like, I'm hugging
Yeah.
her and I have feather fall.
Yeah.
So I am going slowly.
Yeah.
And so is she.
So she would
No.
go slowly too.
Because it's like your weight that determines like how well featherfall works. So like, okay, so here's what I'll do. Instead of 15 d6 falling damage, she'll take 10. She'll take 10 d6 falling damage because you are trying to like slow her fall.
I'm confident that I can make it to the bottom of the hole.
Featherfall is like the scarf works on you, but like I'm assuming the way I'm interpreting it is that like the scarf is affecting your weight,
Yeah, I'm all the
adding
way,
more
like,
weight to it.
I'm all the way around her.
Yeah, but adding more weight to it is the question.
Arvindr
I
is
mean-
not light.
Arvindr is like a dense, muscular lizard person.
But like,
If the creature lands before the spell ends, it takes no falling damage.
How long is the spell?
Like, it's 1 minute, but I have the effects of featherfall.
Right,
So I can basically never take falling damage.
right. But like that's just
Constant.
your weight. That's just your weight. You can't add stuff to it. Yeah,
I
it's,
mean, but
it's
like,
not like
if he had gear on, like if he had featherfall without a great axe and then
But
equipped a great
I'm-
axe, he
I'm-
would still have it.
I'm like
Is a person equipable?
it's like you can't, yeah, a person isn't equipable. Like you can't. I'm not like Brad. I'm sorry. I can't
I'm
let
just saying,
you
if
like.
you're flying with someone, it's
Yeah.
just like the same as casting flying and carrying someone.
But like carrying someone
Does
is.
it require like a string?
Yeah, like can you actually do it? I mean, like.
I mean, I feel like if it physically slows you down, though.
Well, that, I just
And
told you.
you're-
I instead of taking 15 falling damage, she's taking 10.
Well, but does he then?
No. But like,
But if they're-
he's
I'm saying
like,
if,
I'm not like she can't be held and like slow her fall completely and not take any falling damage.
but if I'm
It's
hitting the
700
ground
feet.
before and she's not hitting the ground,
Oh, you use your
She's
body
hitting
to
him.
protect
Yes.
her.
So are you taking
'cause you're
falling
taller.
damage then?
yeah, I'm way bit. How tall are you?
I mean, okay, so
6'5".
Like I jump down after her and just hug her.
okay, so if you're gonna hug, then in that case you can take the falling damage for her.
I'm way tankier than you.
But he can't take falling damage.
Yes, he can, because I'm telling you, featherfall is not going to affect like two people. I gave you like the scarf is for you.
Yeah.
Like I'm letting you decrease
heavy
her
are you?
falling damage. If you
420.
if like
And however you.
275.
if like physically you want to take her damage, then okay.
Would
But
that be
like you can slow it, and again like you're. So the duck. Okay, let me tell you. The duck is taking like 55 d6 away from the falling damage. Does that make sense? Like you guys are falling 700 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so the duck is taking 55 d6 away. You guys are gonna take 15. If you want, you can slow her fall, but someone is gonna take 10 d6 falling damage because like you can't slow her completely. She jumped before you.
And I
You caught her. You caught her.
Wait.
Sure. You caught her,
Yeah.
but like that featherfall scarf is for your weight, and she weighs 2/3 as much as you. Do you
So
see
it's
what I'm
like
saying?
half.
So like,
taking 2/3 as much of
So
the
it'd
damage as
be
we
like
would
half.
be taking.
yes, you're taking. So she is like you are able to slow her fall, but like someone is taking 10 d6 falling damage, and like whether or not you want it to be her or you is up to you.
Or if you split it.
It's not split. It's like one or the other because if
One
it's
of us is gonna hit.
yeah, because like one of you is gonna hit, and like if it's you, then okay. But if it's her, then like also okay. But like the item that you have is a scarf that is like meant to hold you like your
Yeah.
weight. The person that it's equipped on. It's not meant to like hold two people's weight. And because she weighs 300 pounds and you only weigh like what, 400?
Yeah, I
It
weigh
was like 4
420.
something and 2 something.
It's like well over half. Like I mean, like there's you can't make a case.
Yeah.
So I'm working with you here. I'm like saying
I
it's
know.
10d6, but like do you want to take it or do you want her to
It
take
says
it?
I don't take falling damage, it would be her then.
Okay. So like you slow her fall somewhat, but like before you hit the ground, she like kind of like slips out of your arms and then hits herself for like the last 100 feet or so. I think that's reasonable. I mean, you're reducing it by like an average of what, like 30? Something like that? 15?
I don't know. That's-
15.
that's-
Yeah,
You're also
15.
like a barbarian and you're tanky as fuck.
Yeah, I have 126 HP, so
Yeah.
10d6 of falling damage is not gonna kill me.
1, 3, 6, 10, 14,
I didn't do it.
25, 30. So whoever decides to take the damage only takes 30 damage. And you
I
guys
knew to trust the duck. Like, like knock the wind out of my
Yeah,
lungs.
yeah. So you guys hit the ground, and both of you were like, "Wow, I can't believe that worked." Because like the duck, like I feel like you guys are like falling, and you're like,
And then the
and then
ground
like,
gets closer.
and yeah, and the ground is
Yeah,
getting closer,
yeah.
and closer, and closer, and then like all of a sudden there's like this white light that like surrounds you, and you sort of like tilt, and your legs like fall down beneath you, and you're like.
I definitely
And you like
go for
slowly
Duck
impact.
wings.
It's enough to like damage you, but like you're
I
not.
definitely go from screaming like in exhilaration, like this is the best.
Like that sound should never come out of a man's throat or a
And so, yeah.
dragon's throat.
And so yeah, you hit the ground and you're like,
I see that.
wow, I can't
Like
believe
30 HP.
I can't believe that worked. So yeah, you take 30 damage, but like
I knew to trust the duck.
and Stool, if you're falling right after her, you don't take any damage because your scarf. You were able to slow her fall and reduce her damage by like a third of it basically. But she's slipped out of your hands at the last minute and fell. And so, yeah, so you guys are down at the bottom, and you can, like, call up and say, hey, we survived, or
It's
whatever.
a long way down.
That's me being my own echo.
I love it. I think that was great. You should definitely continue to do that. What's
I
that?
don't know why my echo got lower and more manly.
No.
I
The
guess
Doppler effect.
There you go.
I guess he was trying to reflect more confidence as he went.
But yeah, so you guys, there's like
That was
4
impressive,
people at the top, I
Arvindr.
think, right?
Kimber apparently grabbed me and Jerusha and is flying.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm using
make
that as my.
make a strength check to see if you can hold on to them.
17.
You can hold one of them.
One of them.
Yeah, so like this is again like I feel like it is a reasonable thing. You are used to flying by yourself.
One of them.
You're very strong. You are kind of like grabbing both of them by the scruff of the neck
No, I put
and
them
like
over my shoulder.
tucking them up. Okay, so you've
Yeah.
got them over your shoulder. You're falling a really, really long way, and the air is rushing by you. One of them, it's up to you which one, slips out and then takes 10d6 falling damage because you slowed him down. It's up to you. So you take Lady Peregrine, and she doesn't take any falling damage. You don't take any falling damage because you can fly.
I'm probably, well,
And Jerish kind of slips out of your
I
your
say,
arm.
Jerish, feign death.
Jerish slips out of your arms and just starts squealing, and it's like,
What if we land on Stool?
and he takes 10d6 falling damage.
he's
And let's see
a
what
lot
that is.
less squishy or a lot squishier than I am, I think.
Okay. I've also got Revivify and like all these others, spare the dying and whatever.
Let's see, 9, 10,
Death Ward.
16, 18, 20. He takes less damage than Sarah.
Fine.
You got him
But
down
he's
lower.
also level
25,
5.
28. Yeah, so that's well over half of his hit point. He hits the
so
ground
I
on
took
his
like-
back and is like,
I took like a quarter of my hit points.
Right before he hits the ground, banishment. Boop.
actually, yeah, that would actually do it. Let's see.
Can I try catching him?
Yeah, make a dex save.
12 minus 1.
No.
Wait, oh no, that's save. I get bonuses to all my. I'm proficient in all saves.
You
15.
can also give him guidance.
Alright. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah. I'll give guidance
with a
as Drush is
15,
falling.
you reduce his
Not a saving
damage.
throw.
With a 15,
No, that's why
you
I
reduce
give
his damage by 5, and so he only takes what was it? Like 20 or
It's
20.
30.
It's less
It was
than
less
30.
than the
28.
30.
So it would be 20-ish minus 5.
okay, so 23.
As I let him slip, can I yell guidance to him and tell him, tuck and roll, tuck and roll?
No.
Oh.
He's screaming. He's like flailing his arms as he's like falling. He's like, ah! You can't hear tuck and
I
roll.
can't get a D4 off of that?
But
Can he make a dex save?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Teresa should make a
okay,
dex
okay.
save.
I didn't
Oh,
think you made a dex save.
What
with
did-
falling
Oh
damage.
shit! Okay, he got a nat 20. So
I
he's
didn't get to
like,
make any sort of save against falling damage.
what?
If this is against falling damage, I didn't get to make a save, and I
You
have.
should see slips.
I
It's
have
a-
advantage again. I have advantage on saving through on dex saves against things I can see.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He makes a nat 20.
Maybe.
So
he
I
doesn't
feel like
really
he's like,
hear you. Give him guidance.
Can I just
I
take
think
off
that-
like 4 damage from like
I think that like
D4?
what I'm gonna do is say that like with this nat 20 dex save that he just did, he is
He doesn't damage Stool.
he's
Stool
no,
damage.
he's like kind of like trying to like fall into Stool, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like Stool reducing his damage is gonna be like that nat 20. So rather than having like
Oh.
so Stool made a 15, which was like enough to take away some of it, but like I think with Jerish getting a nat 20, he's like flying as hard as he like falling as hard as he can into your arms and like allowing your cushion to like take him, and so he's only gonna take like 23 damage instead of 28 or whatever. But yeah, so I think that's reasonable. So who all is left up top? Anybody?
No one.
No one.
Leonora is
Down.
gas.
And
Okay, so
floating down.
you guys watch Leonora over the next 70 seconds as she descends 10 feet a second as a gas.
Can we see her?
No!
The swirling, like,
That's alright.
Or maybe
swirl of
maybe you
sparkles.
can. Are you glowing?
Are you
I think-
glittery?
I think I'm gonna be
breathe
a swirl of like sparkles. Little bits.
Okay.
Sparkle a little bit.
So you guys all get to the bottom of this pit, and you know that you have fallen very, very far. Like probably, I would imagine farther than most people have traveled downward towards the depths of the city in like the last generation. And so everybody made it pretty safely. Just a little bit of falling damage, a little bit of
A little bit of humiliation.
yeah, humiliation. I think that's a good word. But you get down here at the bottom and you see that there's a door behind you. And I think that with your infinite dark vision, now that you're down here, you can probably see like a door like super far in front of you.
Do either of those doors look familiar?
Make a history check, Brad.
Stool.
12.
Nope. This is not the path you took upstairs.
I do not recall this path.
Should we invest perception?
Yeah.
There's two paths.
Yep. There's one in front of you and one pretty far away from you. How do I open them?
It's a 21 to perceive the closed door.
The closed door is sort of, actually, it looks a little bit richer than you would expect. Like, the door itself is gold, or like looks to have like the kind of sheen of gold. It's like coated in a metal substance, and looks to have like crystals worked into the interior.
I think we should take the
My-
far door.
And I was gonna say, with my infinite vision, I got a 25 for the far door.
Okay, so the far door is black metal. It's not. It doesn't look as friendly as the other one.
Oh, I wonder if it's into like the.
And it looks like it's got like red paint on it. You're not sure quite what the symbols say, but it does look like it's got like red symbols.
I think I see a red door, and I kind of want to paint it
How
black.
do I open it? Help.
Bring it here.
Is that the annoying fancy one?
Oh my god, it's all the way over there?
That's why I said to bring it here.
Jesus. God. Jesus. Anyway.
So there's writing on the black door.
I
I
see
think
some
our
writing.
learners maybe learned
Seems like some
not
sort of
to have
runish or something.
It looks like it's the symbols that
it
like
worked.
are like
Yeah.
clearly writing, but not really like the people that have seen the symbols on the door aren't really sure what they are.
I described the symbols to Stool to see if they are similar to anything that he has seen from the Black Palace thing, whatever that.
Kimber, can
trying
you
to get to.
perceive how far away that door is?
With my 25, did I see
It's
that?
300 feet.
300 feet.
It's like this one is like right at the base of the cliff, and the other one is like 300-400
I knock
feet
on
away.
this door.
The gold one?
Yeah.
It sounds like it's solid metal. The door that. So you were asking if anybody has recognized the symbols. You described them. Did one of you
I
describe them?
did. I was
Did
describing.
you do
it
that
to
out
Stool.
loud?
Yeah.
I got
Well, to
21
the
to perceive
tech,
that door over there.
In the group chat.
the group chat.
Can
Okay.
you send pictures in the group chat?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Well, in that
Then
case,
y'all
I
could have sent it over.
snapped a
Okay.
shot
Any
with my,
Peregrine, make a history check.
and I sent that to the group.
11.
Does it match the blood spark symbols that we saw?
It does look like thieves' cant though.
Oh.
So the red symbols on that door, according to like the sort of mental pictures that Kimber sent in the group chat, the thieves' cant would read to you like. I'm trying to think of what the best way to say it is. Like headquarters, maybe, or like it's basically like symbolizing a way forward. Again, like you're not super familiar. You're rusty at thieves' cant, right? So you're not
Yeah.
really sure that like you're positive with what you're reading, but you read that like headquarters this way. It's basically like an arrow pointing that way rather than like this door, which also has runes on it, actually. Now that you guys are like looking at it closely.
Are they in common, draconic, dwarvish, or primordial?
They are in Draconic and Dwarvish.
It's my two favorite languages.
And what they
Draconic is
read,
not really
for
like-
anybody that's close enough to see them, is it basically says Gilbraith's Horde on that door.
Gilbraith.
Gilbraith. Yeah.
Well, that's a 0. Or
For-
not a 0. It's
For
a 2.
history?
Yep. It's a 2 plus.
Yeah, you're not really sure who Gilbraith is.
Is it a dwarf? Does it sound dwarvish or draconic?
It seems like a draconic name.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Tradition, do you have a thieves guild in this city?
He would say like, well, no, not that I know of. God forbid we have something horrible like that.
Oh dear, there's a thieves guild that way.
I rolled a
Your
23 on
sweatshirt
history.
might
For
be
history?
inside out,
Yeah,
or it
for
might
So-
be-
It
Gilbraith or
looks
whatever.
like it's inside out.
Gilbraith.
And that's the way it's made.
It's
You sort of
very
like
odd, but
search
the
your memory
pockets are
banks,
here.
and you
It's very
hear
strange.
the term, like, you, like, search
I
for
often have to,
Gilbreth,
like,
Mhm.
look at
and
the
you
tag.
sort of get the results back, like, from your network or whatever. There's, like, 3 or 4 results, and, like, the top hits are,
Am I using Google or Bing?
I think you're definitely using Bing.
Oh
Wait, what are
man!
you doing?
She's being. She's beinging. So, like, the top results are, like, horrifying dragon protects horde.
Oh.
Wizard discovers powerful rune magic, and then, like, these are the top 3 hits. So, like,
Weird
dragon
porn
guards
video.
powerful, like, magical horde. Wizard discovers a powerful rune magic, and then, like,
A weird porn video.
yeah, a weird, like a very strange
Rule
porn
34.
video
About a dragon and it's
about a dragon and a wizard, and
It's
like
horde.
all like the common term between all 3 of those things is Gilbreth.
I click on link number 3.
Oh, you click it. It is very
you
sensual.
get a virus.
Dragons have
There's some
like
weird edge
enormous
shit.
dicks. It's just like before it enters the horrible vagina, it like just waves back and forth, and it's
Oh, no.
horrible.
It's not a gay. I feel like it's a gay dragon porn.
Absolutely.
A gay
Yeah.
dragon porn.
Well, all dragons are like they have cloacas, right? So they've got
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a male and female sex organ all in one package. It's very gay. It's homoerotic for sure.
It quite work that way.
So
but
after you
I
watch
still
that
relay all the
video,
information without actually clicking on any of the links, but I get
yeah. So you guys know that there's
Focusing
the name Gilbreth, which is associated with a powerful wizard and a powerful dragon, is behind the gold door, and then behind the black door, a ways away there's a thieves guild insignia.
Do we trust the duck and go after the dragon horde or wizard runes? Or
I would say no.
That sounds crazy.
I mean, the duck did just save you guys from jumping down a hole.
Just down really deep, down a really big hole.
Do you know any dragon wizards, Arvindr?
No.
Neither do I.
I haven't been in touch with my draconic side since I was like at 1.5 or 2.
I always
so.
wanted to meet a dragon.
When you say that, the door's runes like shift and
That's in the group chat.
well, still.
Okay, I didn't.
The door's in the group chat.
The door is in the group chat now. When you shift, he clicked on it and got a virus.
click on
So
No.
when he when
You're the group
when
chat
you kind of
again.
like when you're like thinking that to the group chat, the door like you guys, I think anybody who's looking at it would see the runes shift to be like, oh, we have that here. Please come in.
Do you have any ducks?
The door.
No.
The
This
door.
seems like a terrible idea.
The door is like.
This is a worse idea than jumping down the hole.
That's saying something.
What about signing Steve's deal? Isn't Steve?
Oh, the beholder?
Yeah.
Oh, Steve the Beholder.
Yeah.
I think we go through the other door. I think it's easier to risk our chances with a thieves guild.
I would imagine if there was a thieves guild right across the hall from a dragon horde, either the dragon horde is incredibly well protected and deadly, or gone.
Fair. That sounds logic.
And likely,
You guys could look.
and also, the thieves guild is either incredibly wealthy or
Or
demolished.
demolished by the dragon.
I mean, there's
Maybe dragons don't know how to open
Dragons.
doors.
Do
you
we
guys
flip a
could look.
coin?
Yeah,
Do we
I
flip
think
a
that
coin?
neither door seems like it would be big enough for a dragon to peek through.
Dragons turn into people.
I will scry and ask which door to take.
Okay. Do you mean like
Like, which door
divination?
is the faster door to go through?
Or divination.
Yeah, not scry. I was like,
I have scry. I can try to find my
So what specifically are you gonna ask?
which door to take.
To do what? To get
To get
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all you're gonna say is which door to take.
Yep. Safely.
I think your goddess would be like,
Well,
Safely
safely,
travel.
we have safely under control.
Boldry would be like, well, if you're meaning goal-wise, then I don't really have an answer for you. It's sort of funny. Either direction could lead you to the goal you're looking for. If you want a shinier existence, then I would definitely say take the gold door. It's sort of interesting. I think that you'll enjoy what you find in there. Or if you want to get to your goal that much quicker, but significantly less rich, then maybe the other door would be better.
We should take the non-gold door.
I don't want to get my stuff stolen though. I really enjoy my belt.
It's a good belt.
So wait, did you let us know that it's Thieves' Camp?
Yeah, that I think there's a thieves guild that
Okay.
way.
So we can either get incinerated by a dragon or robbed. Decisions.
My god told me the faster way is through Thieves' Guild, so that's the way Stool would want to take.
But she also said the richer way is through the gold door, and also
He doesn't care about money.
I know he doesn't. But I'm just telling.
And he probably wouldn't tell the group that. But
Okay, fair enough. And I do think that she would have mentioned that. Okay, so like, here's what I'm gonna do for you, Brad. She'll be like, well, it seems like something else is protecting your progress. So it looks like within the next 24 hours or so, no one's gonna be able to kill you, which is very strange. But I think that that's a good thing to keep in mind. If you were gonna face an ancient dragon, say,
I don't want to.
it might be a good time to do it, considering you can't drop below, the minimum that it would take to be alive.
I think Stool. He wants to meet a dragon, but does not face a dragon.
Well, what matters is what you tell to everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just say my god said that the Thieves Guild door is the quicker way, and that they believe that we cannot die on our way there.
Trust the duck.
I mean, I think that all of you could make an insight check about the gold door. Just to be fair,
18.
like,
12.
26.
11.
I think that you, Lady Peregrine, would understand that, like, sure, it may be faster, and the goddess probably told him that it would be faster, and that's great. But also, this door is literally coated in golden gems, and there's, like, you have no evidence to suggest that, like, you wouldn't find similar on the other side. So, like, if you want money...
What about commerce?
What if we just pried the gems from the door?
There are diamonds in the door.
It
Not
is
very
fine
valuable.
craftsmanship. I hate
Diamonds
to ruin
are-
I
it.
think we should leave it.
Nothing.
Okay,
I've got bags and bags of diamond dust. Like
that's true. Diamonds
Dear,
are like
there's
a dime
something
a
to be
dozen.
said for some that you
a
can see.
dime a dozen diamonds.
Diamonds are a dime a dozen here.
Does it have like a doorknob?
The door?
I think.
Both of them. Both of them have, like...
Yeah.
They okay, so the doors kind of look almost identical, but, like, one is gold and, like, with gems, and then the other is, like, red and black. But they're very similar.
Yeah.
You're done with
I vaguely vote for the thief door,
I also vaguely.
but I like pretty things.
I vaguely
so.
vote for the thieves' door as well because, I mean, I'm interested in like artifacts and stuff, but
but also like we are here for a purpose. I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
And I don't know that I want to go fight an ancient dragon.
That's true.
Even though you can't die.
But I could melt my belt. I
Melt
really
the
just
belt. Hashtag melt the belt.
That's all that matters is the belt.
I really like my belt. It's very
That's fair.
meaningful
That's
to
fair.
me.
Yeah.
So I'm also afraid it would get stolen.
I was fully prepared to give you guys an ancient dragon encounter that you would win because you couldn't die.
But I don't know, could we kill it though?
Yeah.
You
We get
could.
summoned to the Dragon Council.
There's no dragon council in this world.
Banish
There's
it.
always a Dragon Council.
There's always dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you guys choose the Thieves Guild door.
Are we close to the stopping point? Or is this a good stopping point?
If you want. I mean, I think we're like 3, or no, not even that many. Like 1 away from being to like the what's it called?
My home?
Like,
The-
Yeah.
Cave.
Like your mushroom forest where like the end is.
oh, you might be
So like the Thieves
offline
Guild door
also.
is the faster door, and you guys there's like 1 room in between here and like there.
Alright. Yeah.
So
Push
roll
forward.
a d20. Whoever is taking the lead.
Lady Peregrine knows how to read it, so.
That's true.
Lindsay!
Your god told us to go that way though, so
That is also true.
Yeah.
10.
Roll it again.
Oh yes.
I don't think we went through the 10.
13.
Roll it again. I need to get the D100 table apparently.
I know. They're great. 19 we did.
Okay.
11?
Okay. Alright. So you guys pass through this open door. Or this door, and you like continue forward through like a pretty nondescript tunnel, and there is a big ring around the interior. What?
Rosie.
There's a big ring inside the interior of the tunnel that has like runes written around it, and another kind of like deep hole at the end of it, which is what Kimber would be able to identify.
Another hole.
Yeah.
Trust the duck again.
It's not as deep though. You're pretty sure. So like, if you guys are coming in through this way. There's like a hole down here. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. And then the Ring of Runes is like right here.
What sport is this even for?
Which door did you pick?
The Thieves Guild door.
Are you disappointed in us?
A little. You guys would have liked meeting my dragon.
If it turns out badly here, we can always go the other way.
That's true. Okay, so you guys get to the bottom of this, like the next tunnel. And again, all of this has been sloping kind of gently downward. And so you're continuing down and you end up in this tunnel. There's a ring of runes around the first exterior of the tunnel. And then finally like a hole in the middle. And it looks like the floor of the tunnel after the runes is sloping pretty steeply downward, like towards the hole.
So one could roll down.
You could roll down.
A marble.
Wouldn't you have like a bag of ball bearings as part of like a brewing pack or whatever you took?
Um,
You should. You should have a whole bunch of ball bearings.
I've got so I've got an assortment of kits.
I could crush a diamond and like remold it into a ball.
I have carpenters, woodworkers, and thieves' tools.
What tack did you pick? Burglars?
Sure. I don't know what I wrote.
I get 1,000 ball bearings.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's roll some.
So what are you doing? You shooting him down the tunnel?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, first I'm gonna make sure that. Actually, so I'm gonna throw one back the other way and see how far Kimber can see it.
Back the other way.
Like the way we just came from.
Well, you just came through a door.
No.
So you hit the door and it bounces
Okay.
off and it's.
Then I'm
it's a
just gonna
beautiful
ask
sound.
Kimber to watch them.
The door's right there.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Rebounds and goes the other way.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So as you're rolling them down the
Ping
tunnel.
pong game.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask Kimber to keep an eye on them.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, you
If they
you
get too far away.
you see the end of the tunnel and at the end of like within like a 2.5 foot ledge along this side, the ball bearings that you've rolled sort of like whoosh, and fall down like a deep hole.
Do we hear them hit?
Mm-hmm.
How
How long does it
deep
take for them?
do we estimate the hole to be based on?
Ooh.
Why are you here?
Just because you let me.
No, I did not.
It's about
Since you picked me up.
60 feet deep.
Okay. Okay.
Not too far. It's not too deep.
Do we know what the
Did it
wind
splash or anything
I was
like
gonna
that, or does it
say-
sound like hard ground?
It splashes a little bit, but like less than you would expect like a deep pool of water to. So maybe like it
Waiters.
landed in a puddle or something.
Waiters, dear.
Perception or something on the runes.
Okay.
17.
You see that they are glowing.
Are they
They
talking
are
about the
beautiful.
Shadowfell?
What alphabet?
They seem to be in primordial.
Speak that.
Do you?
Me
I
too.
don't.
Do you? Okay. Do you look at them and read them?
I would let them know that.
The runes say none shall pass the wall that we have constructed, basically, like repeated over and over and over again.
Get off.
None shall pass the wall they've constructed.
Where's the wall?
Even Stool?
Sometimes it's difficult for Stool to pass.
I hate you.
It has been the case.
We'll have a passing problem with this Stool.
Yeah.
He's very large.
You need to
He
reconsider your
just shot
diet.
right down that hole before.
That's true.
Quickly.
Oh, he's
Well, the
slow
marble
to
passed.
fall.
Yeah.
The marble.
Marbles
Yeah,
passed.
that's true.
But the marbles are
Anyway.
someone? Come up
Well,
behind Jerusha.
which wall?
I'm not sure. This wall, I guess.
Okay.
What?
If it had been even, I was gonna push Jerusha.
Oh, you can't push Jerusha.
I'm not
Jerusha's
gonna.
down half his hit points.
Yeah, he is. He's very weak. He's at 20.
I pat Jerusha on the back.
Well, Stool, you want to trust the duck?
So, I
The
suspect that there's a thieves guild this way, so I'm gonna look and see if there's anything on the archway or the symbols that might mean
Okay.
something different.
So you're trying to perceive them, or like investigate, like
Yeah.
whether
Well,
it's
so
like
I would be looking with a mind towards thieves' cant or something.
Okay,
Is
make an
that-
investigation roll. Is that a 1? I hate you.
15.
It's disgusting. With a 15, you would see some thieves' cant runes on the sides of the walls around, like before the runes, that are essentially warning whoever passes through
I
to.
still think a 1 is a 1.
Is it?
I'm not sure.
I mean, a crit fail is a crit fail no matter what you
That's
roll.
what I was.
No
would think
matter
too.
what bonus you get, a crit fail is a crit fail.
But it says
I mean,
any.
it says whenever you make an ability check that lets you add your proficiency bonus, you can treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10.
They're overpowered.
Also, I feel like crit fails just don't work on saving throws, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm sort of torn about this, but for now, since we don't have time to like figure out the actual answer, with the 15, you would see runes along the sides of the walls that are basically like make sure to expend all your mana before you pass.
Yeah.
I'll read it to the folks that I think that might
Okay.
affect.
Wait, what?
I mean, I don't have any.
It's basically
Mana.
there's like symbols on the side of the wall that say make sure you spend all of your magic before you pass through. You've like expended all of your like potential abilities.
Alright,
That's just what the thieves
I'm gonna
runes
cast
say.
my lightning breath then.
Through the thing.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It's like my only remotely magical ability.
All right. So you
So I
do
make
it.
a 5 by 30 foot line
Are you just like
lightning
casting it in front of you
down
through the
the
runes?
center of the tunnel.
So as you like, you're like I would imagine. It looks like your character is like 10 feet back before the runes, and so your lightning travels as normal, the 10 feet up until the runes, and then after the runes, it like and like gets absorbed. Like the circle of runes like glows really brightly and like absorbs all of the magic that was like coming out of you, essentially.
So I don't know how. I guess since I'm not raging, my like the aura doesn't come into play. So I'm gonna just go through, see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. So
No mana.
Arvindr goes through. You can hear him. When you go through, you feel slightly weaker. Like not enough that it would affect your stats in any way, but you think that some of your magical energy has been drained from you.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Like enough that I'd say that Arvindr is pretty familiar with his abilities. I think that you would understand that if you were to go into a barbarian rage right now,
I wouldn't be able to start things on fire.
yes, your flame abilities are negated.
I'll tuck my armbands into my bag and go.
Okay. You don't feel any change.
I cast Dream, and I go into a creature who I know as the target of the spell.
Okay.
What time is it, by the way?
The dreaded DM question.
We have no idea now.
it's
We've been in
like-
the dark for
Roll
so
for
long.
time.
Yeah.
No, it's in
roll
the
a
it's
D-
in the night. It's in the
It
night.
is in the night?
It's in the night. Yeah, because
Okay.
you guys got to the Undercity at like in the early evening.
Mm-hmm.
The sun went down before you guys had made it through the Apple Store scenario. So now it's probably like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., something like that. You guys
Okay.
haven't been traveling. Well, actually, you took that short rest.
Took a long rest,
actually,
too.
you did take a long rest. Actually, no, it's probably like towards the early hours of dawn. So probably like 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
That still
I
works.
forgot about
I
the
can
long
still
rest.
do this. Okay. Alright. I enter into Fuck's dream.
Okay.
I appear monstrous to him,
Okay.
and I say, I'm going to find you.
Okay.
And I exit.
Okay.
That was one of my 5th level slots.
Wait, do we seriously have to spend all of our magic?
Oh, I'm gonna spend it all. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing.
I don't want.
What are you
I entered
This is
Fuck's
right, the only
dream.
time
Is spend a
20
5th level slot. I told him I was coming for him.
I mean, we can change it if you want to.
That's so weird.
But like rules is written.
Rolling a 1 or between
Okay, I gotta get rid of all of them. I'll cast Dream again.
Do you really though? You haven't tested it otherwise.
I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to if you got just feeling weaker or something as
But
you
did you
pass
say
through. Is
that?
like a
She doesn't have any spell slots.
Did you say anything?
No,
Sure.
No,
Russia.
no.
What?
But we know it said to expend everything.
That's trusting.
You're
random
pushing
play.
him through?
No!
That's
No.
trusting.
She wants you to do it.
I'm not! No, I'm not!
I already rolled for that.
Stool is going through.
Stool just goes through.
Maybe Jerusha just trips.
I mean,
What's
it's
the
also,
total level of your spell slots?
Combine?
Mm-hmm. All of them.
The ones I've used too?
All of them. All of them that you haven't used.
That I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. You cannot have potatoes.
So the total level number.
What does that mean?
So
Like, add all
a
your
level
ones.
1 spell slot is 1,
Okay.
and then a level 2 spell slot is 2. So add everything that you've put together, or everything that you haven't used.
Okay.
Everything that you've got in reserve.
42.
42.
Oh, I see.
I'm so sorry. You lose all of those spell slots and take 84 damage.
Or do
drop
I
it
take
below.
78 damage?
What?
It would
Oh,
drop
yeah.
below 0.
You
78.
pass through the runes and they glow blindingly white for like half a second.
No.
You take 78 damage. It drops you to 1 HP, and you feel like you have spent more like magic and casting right now in this 1 second than you ever have in your entire life. And you've like spent all of your spell slots. It takes everything from you.
I eat a mushroom.
Okay, roll a d100.
59.
Okay, okay, let me see what it does.
No,
59 is when you eat. You pull out this mushroom and it has like this waxy white appearance. Looks kind of like a candle, which is in the general shape of it. And it smells like wax.
I eat it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I see you react at all to this?
How did it taste?
No, like.
Oh, it tastes terrible. It tastes like wax. You just ate a whole mushroom's worth of wax. But I think that
Do
you can make a con save to see like how your reaction is, to see if you even notice.
Hey, you've lost all of your spell slots?
Yeah,
Do you,
I would think
wither
you would
a little bit?
notice.
Do you
I mean-
stumble?
25.
A con save?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, he passes through completely unharmed. His HP drops and he personally is like but like he doesn't show it at all.
Are you okay?
Just walk to the.
That's done.
He's got a lot of cons. So like he manages to walk through without faltering too much. Are you gonna tell them what just happened? I think you would know that you've lost all your spell slots and that you've been injured grievously.
I don't have any more magic, and I'm in pain.
So I'm gonna cast Dream
Okay.
again.
Okay.
Not for fuck. I was actually gonna talk to what's his face, Jerusha's daddy.
Tolan. Okay.
Yeah.
Tolan's probably asleep.
Yeah. So I was gonna just enter Tolan's dream and be like, hey, Jerusha's okay. We're down, way down.
And he'll be like, "Thank you for telling me. Where
Yeah.
are you exactly?
Way down.
How far? What do you mean
Like
down?
down.
Do you mean like literally down? Like
down.
if you're in the Undercity, you shouldn't go there. Don't go
I
there.
met a fungus dude and he's taking us down.
Down is bad here.
We have
you know
Jerusha
that,
with
right?
us.
There's. You have my son with you? I thought that he was going to stay as a secretary.
No,
What do you mean he's
us.
with
We're
you?
leveling him up.
A duck's got us under
A
control.
duck, don't worry, a duck gave us a spell. We're good. We'll be fine.
Trust the duck.
Apparently we're supposed to trust the duck.
Tolan is like very discomforted by this. He's like, you mean
He wakes up and thinks this is a nightmare.
you mean
This dream is so crazy. He doesn't even
the
believe
demon duck?
What demon duck? I don't know, we got a wish
You
or something?
made a wish on
I
a
didn't.
duck in the Undercity?
Was it
What
me?
color was it?
Brown?
No, it was white.
White? That was brown duck in the white room.
It was a
With
white duck,
And a
with
just with the poop marker.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it
It
was?
was just the poop.
Oh, I
You
got
should roll
confused
it-
by the poop
You should
marker.
roll to see if you remember the actual color.
That's actually true.
Make
Alright,
a history
history
check.
Yeah,
check.
just tell him no. He doesn't need
I do not. No, it was brown duck.
Thank God it wasn't a white duck. I've heard that duck is it allows you to make a wish and then
Yeah.
the wish goes horribly wrong in the last possible second.
Oh, I don't think we have to worry because it should be fine.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was
I didn't
definitely
know-
it was definitely a brown duck.
I didn't realize that there was another wishing duck in the Undercity.
Apparently there is. I don't know.
Fantastic.
I mean,
I'm so happy to hear that. I hope you keep my son safe.
yeah, no, I was almost pushed him through this, portal thing, but I didn't. So it's
Portal?
fine. Yeah. There's a bunch of runes around it.
What kind of runes?
I don't know, something primordial. I can't read that. Yeah. I think that's right.
Oh, he doesn't know anything about it. He'd be like, yeah, no, you're
definitely
right.
primordial.
He'd be like, I'm not sure about that
No.
particular trap, but
No,
be
no.
careful, please,
Something about
please,
guild.
But you can't.
I don't know.
please,
Okay.
please be careful, and
Yeah.
he'll cut off the.
No, I cut off. But
Okay, yeah,
I
fine.
gotta go.
I
You
just-
cut it off.
I love. He's totally like. I'm picturing him waking up and just being like, "What a horrible nightmare."
What the fuck?
Not
the
even
hell was
realizing
that?
It's a dream spell. Just like, wow, my mind is
Do you
crazy.
have to spell magic?
No, I have, or what do I have?
Third level spells?
Oh, I do have to spell magic. Oh yeah, we tried to spell magic on this thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Make.
Test it.
Are you gonna like cast it on the runes?
on the object,
Okay. Make a Arcana check.
and I was gonna say, like throw it at 6th level just to get rid of that one.
I
No, it's
love
low.
So you try to cast Dispel Magic, which is a spell that you're very familiar with. You understand how it works. You cast it on some of these runes, and they glow red for just an instant. About as long as they glowed white when they absorbed Stool's power. They glow red, and essentially like overpower your spell, and like this is all in your head, right? So like it's not like a visible effect apart from the runes glowing red.
Okay.
Or what
They-
level is that spell?
What?
Is it a spell level on it?
No,
Okay.
it's like an artifact thing.
Okay.
They glow red, and you get like this horrible pain in your head, like from like the same place that you cast this Dispel Magic spell, if that makes
Okay.
sense. Like you're pulling the spell from your mind and you're like casting it, and essentially these runes have created like this arcane reprisal because of your Arcana check.
Okay.
And so you take 2d10 psychic damage,
Okay.
and you take 64 damage. Just kidding. It's 10. You take 10. You take 10 psychic damage as
Okay.
they like reject your use of this 6th level dispel magic and
Okay.
like shoot it back at you basically.
Okay. I'm gonna use 4th level spell, locate creature to find fuck.
You can also heal people who are.
Oh, I'm going to. I mean, that's what I. Yeah, no, we're getting there.
Don't
We're getting there.
To find fuck, what does locate
Yeah.
creature do? It's
Like
like
locate-
1,000 feet. isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's like 1,000 feet.
Fuck
can
is
also
gone. The
find
fuck
people
is
now.
gone, but has been gone. He's like miles away. I'm miles away. So
I'll
you
enter
spin
his
that spell
dreams
slot
later.
and you're like, okay,
Nah, I can't find it. That's fine. Okay. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. No, it's a creature. Okay.
Can you heal
I'm just
Stool?
gonna keep walking.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
don't
try and
worry.
heal everybody as much as I can.
Okay.
if it
As
goes
you get
through.
close to that
Oh, are you
Like-
healing me?
Yeah,
pit, as you can't. You're trying to heal him.
I was
But
gonna
you
see if
can't
it
go
can go
through the
beyond.
barrier.
As you
That's what I
try
was
to
thinking.
you go to cast heal, the runes glow like
Okay.
blue
It won't let
and
it
like
Okay.
absorb it.
Stool.
Stool, as you go towards the pool,
Come back.
like the pit at the
Oh
end.
yeah, because you can cross back through the gate because you know.
You've
all
already
your spell
used it.
slots.
You have no spell slots. Come back through. Let me heal you up.
I will say that.
I'll try to walk back through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's smart.
Okay.
Have a whole slew of health for everybody.
Yeah. You.
And I'm
you
just
pass
gonna
that
burn
through.
all of my
the
slots.
runes. The runes
healing
kind of
everybody
glow like
max.
a little white, and then die as you pass back through. Basically, like so, like you pass back through, and they like go.
I have 78 health. I think.
Yeah. No. I mean, I've got between cure
You spent
wounds.
2 5th level dreams.
Yeah.
And 1 4th level spell.
At a 6th level.
Six.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
6th level spell.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What?
No, and everything else, I'm just gonna heal everybody. I mean, the aura of vitality, cure wounds.
Okay, well, you still have 2 people that haven't passed through the circle
Prayer
yet,
of healing.
who could also heal you.
So let's
Remove
say,
curse. Everybody's removed and revivified.
so keep healing until I'm full.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn every spell slot that
Okay.
I've got healing
Well, and
the
Jerusha
party
has
to the
like healing
max.
spells too that he'll
That's
have.
true.
He needs to get rid of it
Perfect. He should use them
also.
on him, and then he could use them on me.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Everybody.
So-
I feel like just to burn it and get it moving. Everybody.
Alright.
All of everything's healed, all max, and nobody
Alright.
has spell slots.
Yeah, so I think that's fair. So
Yeah.
so I will say that there's one person here who is exempt from that because she has a bunch of spell slots that aren't useful for healing. Leonora. So what are
What
you
did that-
doing to pass through this gate?
I'm gonna spin on my spell slots.
But how are you gonna do it? Because everybody else is healed up. I think that's reasonable. Everybody
Just
spent all of
quick.
their spell
Just
slots. Nobody has anything left.
Fuck knows I'm coming for him.
Fuck knows you're coming for him.
And
Colin is really
Really,
Freaked the fuck out. You
Are you
stole
gonna
his
tell
son and you
Jerusha
took him into the Undercity.
are you gonna tell Jerusha he talked to his dad?
Yeah, oh, of course. I'm definitely letting Jerusha know. Yeah, it's what did you do?
Jerish,
He's busy, but we're
Jerish
happy
is
you're
back to
here.
full
He's
health.
happy. Yeah, he's happy we're looking out for you, Jerusha.
He's proud of you.
He's proud of you. He thinks you're
Jerish is back to full health.
doing really well traveling with us.
And so, Leonora, while you're like standing there, like trying to figure out what to do, Jerish would be like, I know you can't spend spells, like you have a lot of spell slots that you need to spend and you don't really know how. If you'd rather just walk through the gate, I can distribute your damage. But he'd say that in like terms that aren't like game rules. He would basically be like, I can take whatever harm comes to you from like having your full list of spell slots and distribute between all of us so that it's less for everyone. If you want. That's just an offer. It's not a
She wanted me to push you through.
it's just an offer. I don't believe that she would do That would be
Plus
hard.
at one spell, like,
Can
you
you
can
imagine?
cast at higher levels and
Magic
Oh,
missile.
yeah.
Just magic missile.
or just do anything.
1,000 of them.
Yeah, at the walls or whatever.
I'll throw ball bearings through, and you can hit them with magic missile.
Target practice.
I don't know that I want to shoot any magic through the gate.
It won't go.
No,
Throw
go
back
through
Ball
the back
bearing
that
will
way.
go through.
Well,
Yeah,
throw it back the other
you
way.
aim it this way.
You have to hit the ball bearing with the magic missile before it hits the door.
There you go. It's a
Ready, mark,
game.
set, go.
Throw.
Okay.
Alright.
So
I want to see how many she hits.
It automatically hits.
Oh my
But
god.
it's
Magic
what the
missiles
speed-
are-
Yeah, magic,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
she can't miss with that.
No,
The
but
speed.
if it can hit it before it hits the wall, not if it can hit it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Before
And
it
also
hits
it's
the
like
wall.
a
Chasing the speed.
You can make
of
5 dex saves.
Okay.
And we'll say that the percentage is based on that.
So I have 4 first level slots. So
Roll a
Let's do-
d100 and that's the percent that you hit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll do 3 magic missile at first level because I just need to get rid of one. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We're gonna do
And again,
this.
like so Jerish is basically like, I can use my abilities to like split the damage between all of us equally.
Or I can burn all of my spell slots because they're gonna be lost anyway, and nobody gets hurt more than they have to.
That's fair.
Push him.
Yep.
I put
This
it
is
on
why
your
she
butt.
said to push
If
you,
he keeps
Jared.
suggesting that we take damage, I am going to push him up against the wall. Dude.
41 for magic missile.
Mm.
Nah, you could
Percentage
do
wise?
better with your second.
I was gonna
level
say,
missiles.
do it again with the second level. I bet
All
you'll
of
be
your
better.
second level spells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
all of your spells.
Yeah.
I like how everybody's just like watching in the and like on the other side of the gate, and Leonora's like, like just like shooting off fucking like magic bullets.
Oh my goodness.
Do a percentile plus a d20 to add that.
No,
Yeah,
for
I
your second
agree.
level.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
No,
second
that
level.
makes sense. Yeah.
And then you can do 2d20 for third level.
Yeah. Yeah. So do your
So do your
D100
percentile.
again, the percentile.
And add a roll a d20.
54, improving.
Plus-
54 plus 13.
Oh. 67.
67.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
hit
Nice,
67%
you're
of the
getting
ball
better.
bearings that time. You're doing
56
so
points.
good.
Nice.
Wow.
Alright.
6, 6, 6, 6 repeating.
Leonora also took advanced PE.
And she's just like squealing as she's shooting off like.
I'm picturing it looking really cool. When the
I mean,
magic
yeah,
missiles
it's
hit
gonna
the
be
ball
amazing.
bearings and they're gonna
Oh, yeah.
Agree.
No,
look kind of like a
2d20.
fireworks show.
Oh.
It's not gonna be good.
29 plus
It's our second
7.
7 today on percentile days.
Pregnant.
36.
Okay, so
It's
with your
good
third
you
level
didn't roll
spells,
this
you like do not very good.
Okay.
You were having too much
Getting a
fun.
little-
It was
Yeah.
too much power.
Too much power.
Got a little cocky.
You were focusing
let me,
too
let
hard.
me let me give you a head start. God.
Sorry.
Fourth.
Maybe my rolling got bad.
Or maybe you got better.
Oh,
You went
damn.
Too fast.
No, you hit all of that.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah,
90
yeah, you got a
93
93.
plus-
Yeah, so with your
But
fourth
they're all
level
ones,
spells,
All one.
Yeah.
93.
with your fourth level spells, you managed to
Everything.
like every ball bearing is
You
kind
felt a
of
little
like.
embarrassed by the last one. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm focused now.
I gotta show these people what I can
And
do.
you like magically suspend every ball bearing like in the air
Before
with your
I
magic missiles,
explode them.
and then
in,
you like
a
go,
shower
huh,
of sparks.
and they all like.
It's impressive.
It hits right as it leaves the hand. Like, ding.
Oh, damn.
Um,
Is that all of them?
Nope. Nope.
She has 5th and 6th level spells.
I know. I used all of mine.
I
For
know.
trees.
Okay, I will do it one more time to burn my 5th level spells.
Oh.
5 d20s though.
4.
Fifth level? Oh yeah, 4.
Yeah.
Oh, the 19 is
19
good.
is good.
You got overconfident again.
She got a 2.
Yeah. Overconfident. So this time I feel like you're just shooting off so many magic missiles at once, because with a 5th level spell you're shooting off 7.
That's only 2 5th levels, right? Or how many do you have?
But like
So
she's shooting
14.
off 7 at once, so if she's shooting off all of them at once, it's 14, and it's like
7 out of each hand.
I feel like it's not.
Not enough fingers.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like it's not unreasonable for her to not be able to like
Overloaded.
control all of those bolts at once.
Or Lady Peregrine just grabbed so many.
I just tossed them.
Yeah, I think that's
Threw
reasonable
all
too,
the rest of
honestly.
them.
You threw 20, and she only had 14 magic missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, do this, 20.
That sounds about right. I have
Yeah.
no idea how many.
Missiles
She
are
can do
allowed.
that
You know
one.
that.
You just
yeah.
grabbed a
What are you doing
handful.
with your 6th level spell?
I am going to cast creation at 6th level and spell out the mushroom crew was here. Mushroom club?
Mushroom
The
Club.
mushroom club was here in gems. And like a 10 so it's like 5-foot cube. So it's 10 foot like 10 by 10 square like on the wall. In like scripty lettering.
Amethysts.
Yeah.
I would say lab bradite.
Labradorite.
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 And it'll last for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you think that maybe it'll last for even longer because you made it in gems and you were spending your spell slot in such a way.
Gems are supposed to last 10 minutes.
All right, so you cast that,
And then I take a bow.
Then I think everybody's impressed with you.
Our circus is coming along nicely.
Yeah, I'll make a sign for us.
Good training. Good training,
Mushroom
everyone.
Club Circus.
Mushroom clubs.
Our
All right.
tents can
Oh,
look
I
like
can,
mushroom
I
paths.
illustrated it too. Like I put like.
Are
the
you guys
mushroom club
continuing
here,
forward?
And then I put like
Make a perception
skyline
check.
of a circus underneath.
19.
19.
26.
Kimber, you see a tripwire
Whoa.
about halfway down the tunnel.
Stop.
Collaborating.
In the name.
And you're not sure what it does. The path itself is on a gentle slope down towards the hole, and you're not sure what the tripwire does, but
It's higher up than ball.
That's true.
That's true, because we
There.
can throw the ball bearings down.
Well,
the ball.
I would hope so, since the ball bearing is like this big.
Yep. And so there's a tripwire right there.
Does anybody know anything about tripwires?
I'll look around and investigate to see if I can tell what it's supposed to set off.
I don't think we're supposed to step on them.
Oh, I'll offer guidance on that.
I'll add
Oh wait, you
guidance.
can't. Can you?
No,
Yeah,
we
you
can't.
can.
I can give guidance.
Guidance is a cantrip.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can do cantrips right now?
I would assume.
It
I
took
mean,
all
does
of your. It took all of your ability to
Yeah.
cast
Took all-
spells.
So then
yeah,
if
but
it took away
cantrips
like my
are-
like.
Oh yeah, what is your breath weapon or
Well, no,
whatever?
I used
or
the
is
breath
that-
weapon.
You okay? So
My
Sarah,
primal
your
path
your
or
magic, like, I should have clarified that.
I guess that's true.
That's my
Yeah.
bad.
Or
You
maybe I should-
you passed through, and while you were passing through, you felt deflated. But like once you got to the other side, the effect sort of ended, and you think that you maybe could set stuff on fire with your hands now. Because basically, the way I see that primal path thing is basically as like an ongoing cantrip that you can cast. Essentially, this thing was meant to rob you guys of anything other than cantrips.
So spell slots are all gone.
Yeah.
but Cantrips.
So
are
like,
okay.
I would say that your like primal path stuff, like you deflated while you were like passing under it, but now that you're kind of down away from it, you feel like your ability to like start fires with like snaps of your fingers and stuff coming back.
I would like to jump over the tripwire.
Okay, make a
I'll
dex
just
save.
go over.
And since I can see it, I have an advantage on that.
Okay,
Since
Cool.
it's a trap, I can see. 17.
yeah, you jump over it. Cool.
I got an 18 to figure out what it's
You look around and you think the tripwire, you kind of like look at the walls, you're sort of like picking out like which things it's connected to. It looks like, you're not positive, but it does look like the tripwire itself is like connected between two weights on either side of the wall. And if anybody were to break the line, it would trip those weights, and then the path itself would like go from like this slope to this slope. So like the path would fall out from underneath you guys.
So we should leave it intact. We just have to be careful going over it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to go and look at this pit thing in front of
Okay. Make an investigation check or a perception, whichever one you want.
22.
Yeah, so you look down at it, and like I said, it's about 60 feet deep. There's a door on the other side, and there's
Across or at the top?
so like at the bottom and then down, like over, sorry. So like on the opposite wall of the pit, but
in
like
the
60
pit.
feet down.
Is there any sort of anchoring thing?
What do you mean?
Like a rock or something I could tie off and then just drop down via rope?
Oh,
There's a
no,
rope.
there's a ledge, but I don't think that there's like a rope or not a rope, but like a ladder or a rock.
Okay.
You might be able to like hook a hook onto
like a
something,
fly.
but you don't think that there's like something that you could tie off on.
Kimber.
That makes sense.
I'll
Yes.
use Kimber.
So you see like this
Fly.
door.
Should maybe carry
on the other
Jerusha?
side.
He's kind of useless.
That's a good point.
I'm
Fly back.
so looking forward to making a dex check for him.
I was gonna
How
pick him
tall,
up.
How high up is
Fly.
It's like so like on an average person's height, it's like just below the knee. So like I mean, it's a reasonable
You
thing
basically
to
just have to step over.
You
yeah,
step
it's like a
over.
reasonable thing to jump over or step over.
Yeah.
But like if you make below a 10 on like a dex check, then like you'd probably trip it because it's like the sort of thing where you're like, you know, like you're like lifting your leg really high or like hopping. It's not like the sort of thing where you could just like gently step over.
But Stool's pretty tall.
Yeah,
That's pretty tall.
Stool is pretty tall, so like I don't think you'd have any problem with it.
Okay.
Like I said, the DC is 10 essentially.
Well, my dex is a -1.
Okay, so roll an 11. You got a 50-50 chance, Brad.
I rolled a 2.
Did you actually roll a 2?
Yeah. But I'll use my inspiration.
I'll offer you guidance.
That was not my intention, but okay.
I'll offer you guidance
You
as
wobble,
well.
but you're like, wait, I'm trying this
Yeah,
again.
you're like,
I don't trust that foot.
18.
yeah, you're good. Okay, give me that inspiration token.
No.
Why would you? You've knocked over Toot.
Not too. Okay. And across.
You could help
Yeah.
Leonora. You could help her over. Now that he's on this side, he can just pick you up.
Lift her up.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable.
Thanks, friend.
All right, so
Alright, Kimber, can you hold this rope?
I certainly can.
make a strength check.
I will use my immovable rod.
Oh.
Very clever. Okay.
Alright. I tie this rope to the immovable rod.
Okay.
And
So
then
yeah, you guys can sort of like rappel down. With
you could
the-
fly down.
And I can fly down, so I'll
Yeah.
grab my rod before
Okay.
once everyone
So
gets down.
all of you guys get to the
In
bottom.
trouble.
There's this one
You know
iron, like black iron door at the bottom that has. I think all of you guys would recognize. Like you would be able to read them because you're the rogue, but everybody else would recognize that the runes that are written onto this black iron door in similar red ink to the one above say like headquarters through here. And there's like a wheel that you turn to open the door. It's like a hatch, like the one that you've seen before.
Like a bulkhead?
Like a bulkhead door. That's right.
I crank the wheel.
Okay, you open it.
Crank it.
And so I think that this is probably a good place to stop, but you guys open this bulkhead door and you guys literally have a cliffhanger. You guys open the door and it sort of like opens out onto this like kind of small ledge that like leads off
And you
down
can lead
into the darkness. They lead off to the right. But essentially this door is like an overlook over this big sort of like bowl-shaped depression where like this giant mushroom forest is growing. You guys can like, if you look down and focus, you can see like a few like figures moving through the mushrooms, but they're like ant-sized.
Are
They're-
the figures mushrooms?
Are there bioluminescent
I don't think
mushrooms?
Yeah, they're glowing. Everything is glowing. There's like a haze of some sort over the mushroom forest itself that's also glowing. All of the figures that you can see in the distance are very, very tiny, so you think you're much higher up than like the actual like depression is. And then if you keep looking off into the distance, at the end of the mushroom forest, at the very, very far side of it, there's a giant black rectangular prism.
So I would recognize.
What?
Would I recognize it?
Yeah, no, this is your home.
Yeah.
You like walk through the door and you're like, oh, this is
my
what-
home.
This is my home. And you see this giant. It's like, and like you guys like saw this like thing in the storybook, right? You guys saw that like Stool. It's very big, but like you guys weren't expecting it to be like an actual fortress, if that makes sense. Like you guys were like, oh, okay, it's got like dilapidated walls, it's not that sort of thing. But it looks like in the past few years, since Stool has sort of grown and like inherited the memories from his people, they've really kicked up the
Production value.
the production values, the protections, and like there's a big black like steel and iron wall that's all around the sides of it, and like a large black like inner keep with like steel spikes and all kinds of like nasty looking stuff. And so you guys are kind of just like looking over this off of a cliff that like shoots downward and is essentially just like a big like meteorite depression in the middle where like this mushroom forest is going, and there's a big black thing in the middle.
Nice.
With no spell slots, by the way.
Yeah.
We're at your
But
home.
Let's take a rest.
immovable rod.
Alright, I got my movable rod.
Trust the duck.
Trust the duck.
Trust the duck.
We have cantrips.
You guys did make it in
Yeah.
one piece.
And we can rod.
But now we're here now, so maybe that the duck wears off.
Stool
Do we
said
see the
that it
duck?
was his home.
Do we see the duck?
You guys hear like "Wah!" like in your ears as like the duck's protection fades.
How about an 8-hour nap on the ledge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tie everyone to the immovable rod. No
so
one can
I would
roll
know
off.
We'll find out next time.
Where the ledge is from my home.
You got knowledge
Yeah,
of the
I think
terrain
that
now.
like Stool himself would know that like where he's from is like a cave over to the far like left side. So like if you go down into the mushroom forest and like work your way around, he's like from like this kind of hidden alcove that's like over here. So like nobody from the fortress ever saw him or like saw him being grown.
Okay.
So yeah, so I think that Stool definitely recognizes like this is his home and this is his people.
So you and I are working with the exact amount of resources we're used to working with.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You guys are the main characters now.
I'll just cartwheel down.
Bye.
Acrobatics.
Have a good
See you
night.
guys.
Bye, Brad. Oh, do I need to move? I probably need to move. Are you sure? Okay. Well,
They'll be
alright. I guess I need to move or not then.
Are my stack of books up here? Hey, Kimber, where are your books?
I was really hoping you guys would go meet my fairy dragon.
Smart.
I wasn't
I'm not giving you
totally
any more
against
tomatoes. You've eaten more tomatoes
What?
than anyone.
I wasn't totally against it.
He wasn't an ancient dragon at all. He was like a little tiny fairy dragon that had like tricked people into thinking he was an ancient dragon.
My friend.
Absolutely.
Are we still streaming?
I want him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I want a baby dragon.
He's not a baby dragon. He's a fairy dragon.
Little.
Oh,
He
is
lit.
like what's his face? Jonathan, that Harvester had.
Oh, here's the suit.
No, that's a pseudo dragon. Oh
Thank you for
God,
catching me
Lindsay,
yawning
that was
from above.
horrible.